Yo. What's good, y'all? All right, let's get this live started. I got to lock in for a second and post on socials that I'm live. Can you guys hear me? You guys should be able to. Let's see. Yeah. Let's make this a live chat. Yo, what's good, Ethan? All right, let's share this. Let's share this live. Let's let everyone know that I'm live right now. Y'all, look. Wait, it's to this side. Look to this side. If y'all have questions, y'all can email me questions. We're about to lock in. We are all getting 1600, or I mean, you guys are all getting 1600s. All right, you guys are all getting 1600s. Live right now. We're about to have a good stream. We're gonna be live for probably 2 hours, maybe a little more. It depends on how it goes, but we'll definitely be live for a good amount of time. So I'm excited. Y'all low-key hate posting stories. All right, the TikTok sounds, bro. Now I'm gonna get copyrighted. Now I'm cooked. All right, hold up. Yo, what do you guys think about the TikTok stories, bro? They're actually terrible. All right, guys. We're about to get into some questions, all right? If you guys have specific questions, you can send the email there, all right? You could send an email there. All right, we're going to lock in and do a ton of questions. I hope it's not, I hope the stream's not very delayed. Live right now. All right, let's see. All right, let's post this video. I got to tell everyone that I'm live. All right, now let's get over here. Wait, what the heck? All right, it's posted. Real. What type of question should we start with, y'all? What type of question should we start with? That's the question here. Let's see. All right, we're ready, guys. We are ready to actually lock in and start the stream. Welcome all, welcome everyone. I hope you guys are all doing well. Should I take the chat out of subscriber only mode? You only have to be subscribed for 0 seconds. Like, you don't actually have to be subscribed for any time, but you have to be subscribed to type in chat. SAT ones. All right, I think we are going to do some SAT questions today, guys. Maybe possibly some physics 2 questions. All right. So what type of question should I start with? Let's lock in. Do we really start with the English question today? Do we start with the English question? All right, I guess we're starting with English, guys. We're about to lock in. All right, guys, we're going to, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have answering questions, all right? I'll take time to obviously, explain a lot of things today, okay? And if you want me to actually answer a specific question, guys, you can just email it, all right? I'll try my best to keep up, but depending on how many people end up in the stream, obviously if there's so many people, then you know what we're going to do? We're going to do the best ones. So it's going to be like a game of who can send me the best questions, all right? I should actually fix this so that you guys can actually see. Yeah, so this is better, right? Let's see here. I need to pull this up so I can see the chat more easily, I should say. Let's see. All right, let's see. All right. So, what the heck? All right, so taking a look at our first question here, guys. This is an English question where we have this underlined portion, right? And we want to find what choice is the main function of this underlined sentence, right? So I'm thinking here that I'm basically going to have to figure out, like, if this sentence was taken out of the passage, like, what would it lose? And by the way, guys, like up the stream, y'all. Like up the stream, all right? And if you're not already subscribed, like, what are you doing, all right? Especially if you're taking the March SAT, or like you're not done taking the SAT after this test, because I'm going to start locking it on YouTube, guys. I'm going to start feeding you guys. So anyway, let's take a look at this first question, all right? we have petrified relics reveal that the decline of the Aurelian civilization, the relatively swift disappearance of a once sprawling network of coastal settlements, took place roughly 2,500 years ago. So basically, we have petrified relics show that the decline of this civilization took place this long ago, or this much time ago, right? We say scholars have identified prolonged drought as a potential early driving force for the civilization's decline. So they think that the drought is the reason for the decline, right? So civilization's decline, while abrupt from a historical perspective, transpires over centuries. So it's saying, okay, even if there is, an abrupt, we're seeing something abrupt, it's going to happen over centuries. It's probable that a combination of variables fueled the civilization's dissolution. Okay, here's what we need to do when we're doing reading questions. We want to figure out what might I want the answer to say before you even look at the answer choices. So I'm thinking here, well, the sentence before was saying that, it happened really fast because of this drought, but then the underlying portion is basically saying that it takes longer than that in order for a population to decline. And so I'm thinking my answer is going to say it disagrees with, the previous sentence maybe about how long it took for the population to decline or something like that, right? And so if I look at answer choice A, it tells me, let's see here, hold on. I'm seeing how many people are in the live. Yo, can we get 100 people in this live, guys? Let's get 100 people in the live. I think we had 100 people for the October SAT, I think it was. Anyway, so it elaborates on the uncertainty noted earlier concerning the rate of decline. Okay, the rate of decline, I don't know if there's uncertainty anywhere above, right? We don't really think there's uncertainty. It's disagreeing with something, right? Now, B says it provides evidence for a previous assertion regarding the principal source of civilization decline that is then qualified by details that come after. So it does not provide evidence for a previous assertion. In fact, it goes against the previous assertion, right? So B is definitely wrong as well. C, it concedes that the rate of decline of civilization as specified in the information that follows is discerned differently when regarding an alternate perspective. Okay, yes, it definitely concedes that the rate of decline as specified in the information that follows, right? So this, right, is different, right? Is different, right? And so I think that's pretty good, right? C looks pretty good. And then D, it underscores that an inquiry regarding the onset of civilization decline posed by the scholars is previously still unsettled. This looks not good either. D looks really random. Y'all, we need to find the hardest question. I mean, low-key, this is a pretty hard question, but here's what we're gonna do today. Let's see what you guys have to say. Guys, what are your score predictions, by the way? What are your score predictions for the SAT? We got to get an on deck going. All right, we're going to get the on deck going so that you guys can see what questions we have on deck. So you guys can see what questions we have on deck. Let's see. All right, question we have on deck. We're about to do a factoring question. On deck. Factoring. Then we're going to do, let's see here. All right, guys, 1600. You guys think you're getting 1600s? All right. You're going to get cooked on the English. No, don't think that way. Don't think that way, guys. Don't think that way. All right, then we're going to do sum of solutions. What else should we do? Guys, did you guys do my predictions yet? Give me 1 second. I got to plug my phone in, guys. I'm a screenager. How are your guys' Fridays going, guys? If you want me to answer a question, guys, email it to the email on that side of me. I think it's on that side of me, right? Where am I going? I don't need 2 of these. All right, we're gonna do factoring. Let's actually just full screen this, honestly, low key. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, let's make the live chat open. Multiple constants. All right, let's do that. Constants in regression. Should I do a hard boundaries with English? Let's do hard. We'll do a hard logically complete the text. Guys, let's talk about this. I actually want to talk about this. Let's talk about the difficulty of the SAT, guys. We have no clue how difficult it's going to be, all right? You guys are going to find out in less than 12 hours, right? Actually, wait, not less than 12 hours, but there's no point in worrying about it, guys. You're going to do as best as you can, and that's all you can do, okay? That's all you can do, right? So yeah. Now, guys, make sure that you go to sleep early tonight. I'm about to give you guys a crazy tip, all right? If you guys haven't already seen, I say this all the time, make sure that tomorrow morning you read the news or you read something, all right? If you want to do practice questions to warm up your brain for the English, do not look at the answers. Like, do not check if your answers were correct, because if they're not correct, you're just going to like throw your confidence, all right? So like maybe read some passages and try to summarize them, but do not try to like analyze if you were correct or not, all right? You guys got to lock in. Vocab tips, hard vocab. Guys, here's the problem. Like there really is no there's tips for the geometry, but the problem is, guys, if you don't know the words, you're going to get it wrong. Like, it's simple as that, guys. Prefix and suffix is not coming to save you guys. You guys are actually lying to yourselves. Like, I'm straight up. If you guys think prefix and suffix is about to save you, you guys are all, I don't even know what to tell you. You guys are all cooked. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I'm going to scare you guys. But yeah, guys, it's not that helpful. Okay, let's do, I'm so hungry, guys. I'm so hungry. I did not eat before this. Scale factor, and then we'll do pyramid. All right, guys, let's do this factoring question. Let's do this factoring question, guys. I'm about to lock you guys into the factoring question. Have y'all been getting to work on all my resources? What do you guys think? Let's see. All right, here, let's back up. All right, let's see. We're about to do this hard question here. Let's see here. All right, this is the question. Actually, let's make this thing bigger. Let's make this very large. Let's enlarge it, guys. All right, guys, this is the question that we're about to do. This is a question that we're about to do. Okay? This is a question we're about to do. I'm going to say we're locked in for 1,000,000 times, Elizabeth. All right, we're about to do this question. So we actually have to lock in, guys. I cannot get off track. Y'all need to make sure I stay on track and actually do these questions for you guys. So look. When you have a factoring question, guys, first of all, it's very easy to solve these by hand. And I'm actually going to explain that first because, honestly, it's like much faster, all right? You can first realize, all right, well, from both of these terms, what can I factor out? Well, I can factor out a p plus 7 cubed. Like, that's in both of them, right? So I could have p plus 7 cubed times t to the power of 4 minus 16 times p plus 7. And then if I took 3 out of the 7, then I'd have 4 left, right? And then you realize that this is a difference of squares, right? If I have a squared minus b squared, that'll turn into a minus b times a plus b, right? And so I can just do that. This is going to become, this part here will be t squared, because t to the 4th will become just t squared, minus the square root of 16 is 4. And then I'll have p plus 7, and the square root of like something to the power of 4 will just be that thing squared. And then times t squared plus 4 times p plus 7 squared. Now the crazy thing is, this here is another difference of squares, guys. So then we can say that this is going to just be t minus 2 times p plus 7 times t plus 2 times p plus 7. All right, and so you end up getting that this is 2 minus 2p, or t minus 2p minus 14, and this is t plus 2p plus 14. Now if you don't want to do all that, guys, because like, come on, all right, lock in on Desmos. All right, here's what you're going to do. Let's actually make this come down here. Let's see. All right, let's do it like this. So, oh my God, that just annoyed me. Let's fix this. All right, so, okay, can this work? All right, perfect. So what we're going to do is we should know that if I have factors, let's say I have x squared minus 3x plus 2. What are the factors of this? The factors here are just x minus 1 and x minus 2, right? If I write out each of these factors separately, you'll see that the factors will go through 0 at the same time as my function, right? So what I can do is here, and by the way, this only works if my factors are linear, as in like if it's an x squared, it's not going to work, okay? By the way, there's a way to fix that, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Instead, what we're going to worry about is what we can do is just change like the t here to an x, and then just leave the p as like a constant, and I could have x to the 4 times p plus 7 cubed minus 16 times p plus 7 to the 7. And then I'll just make a random number for p, and I'll make sure that this touches 0 at least once, right? And it does. And so then if I just put in my answer choice, my correct answer is C, right? X minus 2p minus 14. you'll see that it goes through 0 at the same time. Isn't that beautiful, guys? Isn't that beautiful? It goes through 0 at the same time. Like if I put in an incorrect answer, for example, so let's put in this one, and again, we're changing t for x, right? So if I try x plus 4p minus 28, let's see what happens there. It's not going to go through 0 at the same time. It's not going to go through 0 at the same time. And so like that would happen. That would be the case for all of them, right? All the other ones would not go through 0 at the same time. And so, yeah, that's how you would do a question like that, right? Now, how about we do a, by the way, guys, like up the stream, all right? I'm actually a sellout. I'm just going to keep saying like up the stream, and I'm going to keep saying we're going to lock in, but we actually are going to lock in. So, okay, next question. So we just got rid of, I should move the on deck here. I should move the on deck. Let's move this to the right side, actually. Let's move this here. Yeah. Okay, and let's get rid of this. All right, what's the next question we're about to do? What's the next question we're about to do, guys? We are about to do a sum of solutions question. All right, guys, sum of solutions is pretty common on the SAT. All right, you don't want to get one of these wrong, right? That would not be very fun. All right, this is the question we're about to do. So this one's off. Yo, guys, here's what I'm about to add something to the on deck that you guys are either gonna love or not love. We're gonna do a unit circle question. All right, we're gonna do a unit circle question. Okay, so let's look at this. So this question is actually pretty simple. I mean, this is a pretty easy version of this. So, okay, when you have ax squared times bx plus c equal to 0, the sum of solutions, there is a formula. The sum of solutions is equal to negative b over a, and the product of solutions is equal to c over a, okay? And so here, if I'm talking about the product of solutions is KAB, well, I know that my C over A is going to be AB. So my C over A here is AB over 57, right? AB is the C and my A is 57. And so if that is what I find, and they tell me that my sum of solutions or product of solutions, is KAB, I can just set this equal to KAB. And I realize, look at this. It's like it all works out, right? The ABs are going to cancel out, right? And I'll just get 1 over 57 equals K. Right? It's that simple. Right, there are way harder versions of this question, way harder. Especially if you guys have seen on my resources page, there's a lot of hard sum of solutions questions, but that's for a rainy day. It's 1 a.m. here. LMAO, I think I am low-key crashing out. You got to go to bed, bro. Search up on you. All right, exit out of the stream. Search up on YouTube, guided meditation to fall asleep, and do that. All right, that is low-key the #1 hack that I actually usually don't say. I never really post about that. That is the #1 trick, guys. I'm telling you, if you cannot fall asleep tonight because you're nervous, and it's going to happen, right? It's definitely going to happen. You search up guided meditation to fall asleep. Simple as that. Put it under your pillow. Turn on a timer on YouTube for like 10 minutes, okay, or like 20 minutes. It's like anesthesia. They tell you to count down, and you're counting down. You're like, wait, this isn't working, and then you wake up. That's what happens. I swear to God. All right, that's what's going to happen. Okay. Opinion on lateral surface area. I don't know what you guys mean by opinion, but like you could see it. I don't want to, guys, if you know me, you know that I really hate like giving like predictions. Like all my like I don't want to predict if you're going to see a lateral surface area question. I think that you should know how to do it, right? Like you should know how to do surface area question, but like honestly at this point, like that's just not worth it to worry about unless you're like so strong on everything else, right? This test cycle, they've had to do surface area of a cylinder, surface area of a cone, surface area of a right rectangular prism, surface area of an equilateral triangular pyramid, and then also a rectangular pyramid or a square pyramid. Right? How long is the stream until I honestly feel like I'm done? Usually they're about 2 hours, and then I get tired. Once my voice is shot, it's like it's over. Okay, let's do what is like the hardest constants in regression question that we could possibly do. Let's just like literally just get the hardest question that we could possibly do here. Let's see. I'm literally just gonna pick like the hardest one. Let's go down actually. Let's go do an old one. Let's see here. All right, I like this. This one's going to be very hard, actually, guys. We got to keep it PG. I like this question, guys. I like this question a lot. All right, this is like a textbook question, guys. If you want to get a 1300 plus, you should know how to do this. All right, let's make this bigger. We're about to lock in. Y'all, I should speed up the questions. I should speed this up as if it was one of my sessions, guys. And then we're going to do like 100 questions in the next 2 hours, right? I can go fast, all right? But then I can't interact with you guys. But who cares about interaction? We need to lock in, right? All right, let's move this. Let's move this so that you guys can see. Actually, I guess I could just leave this like this. Yeah, I guess I could just leave that. All right, let's get Desmos open. All right, let's do it. Oh, I guess we have to move this a little. Okay, let's just leave this. So, I guess I'm gonna half screen this. I changed my mind. All right, let's run it. Okay, so taking a look at this question, guys. How might we solve a question like this? How might we solve that question? And let's move this over as well. Actually, let's just put this here. I'm very, very, very bad at this. All right. How might we solve this question? Well, I'm given points on a function, right? I'm given points on a function, and I'm told how the function is defined. You should know exactly how to solve this question. You should know exactly how to solve this question by now, guys. If I can't watch, yes, this will be on the channel, guys. This will be uploaded to the channel. Yes, we're going to use a table, guys. Good. Very well done. We're using a table here. 6, 10, 8, 1, 5. You also could use a list. I personally don't do that, but you can do this. And then you literally are going to, usually, you're going to click the add regression and deal with that. The problem here is that this is a very wacky function that they've given you the definition of. When they do that, you have to go on the next line and write it out yourself. So y1 is equivalent to 3x1 squared times x minus 5 times x plus p, and you have to make sure it's x1, right? Can't forget that. X1 plus p, and then we have plus q, right? And then it's going to give us our values, right? And so if we look here, right? If we look here, like our answer, let's see, this should be a square. I was going to say our answer doesn't come up, and I was going to give you guys a false check, but or I shouldn't say a false check. What's the right word? Like a fallback option. But it gives us 4 and 15, right? And so, by the way, just really quickly, one other way you guys can do this, I really don't talk about a lot because I just don't like it, is you write out the function regularly, like without regression, just with like the constants. A lot of you guys probably haven't seen this before. Times x plus p squared plus q. And then instead of like a table, you just go into a regression and you write like, okay, so we know what h of 6 is, and we also know what h of 0 is. And so then I can set this equivalent using a squiggly line to 10, 8, 1, 5, comma 15. And then it gives me my values. So that's another way that you can do it, right? Also, like, it would have been really easy to find out that q is 15. Because, like, if x is 0, then this is going to be 3 times 0. So, like, this whole thing is going to be 0. And then this will be 15, right? But, yes, you get c, right? You get c. Pretty simple. Okay, let's get at it. Let's get rid of this. Did you guys take my practice SAT reading? What did you guys think? What did you guys think? Why did I do Y1? How do you do Y1 instead of Y? Always no. That's when you're doing regression, and you do regression when you're trying to find constants, okay? By the way, guys, if you don't know regression, all right, for those of you that are in this stream right now and do not know regression, right now is probably not the time to learn regression, all right? Give up. No, I should say give up. No, I'm kidding. Give up on regression, all right? Because like, you're just going to bog your mind, and it's like way too complex for you to just like learn it in like 10 seconds. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, it's challenging. So like, spend the time tonight making sure you know how to do like the basics, making sure you understand how to graph regularly. Like, obviously, like, regression's not so hard, but like, there's so many times that like the regression's not going to work if you don't know exactly what to do. The RMSE does have to be 0 for the right answer, but this is basically 0. Like, this is going to be, where's my mouse? This is going to be 0.00, like this is going to have 13 zeros and then a 2. Sometimes Desmos like estimates wrong by like very, very little bit. And so that technically like counts as 0. So we're not really worried there. Is a 1300 achievable? Yes, a 1300 is achievable. I learned regression, but never on Desmos. I see, like you probably learned it in a stats class, right? All right, let's do a boundary question. I'm about to pull up a very, very hard boundary question. I'm actually going to pull one up from the practice test, that I have for you guys. Let's go over here. Let's find it. I have way too many tabs pulled up. All right, let's see. Let's do Let's do this one. Number 21. Let's make this bigger. And let's make this also bigger. All right. We're about to do this question. And then we're about to get into a couple questions that you guys actually sent in. So if you guys want me to answer a question, email it, and I'm about to get some of those locked in. Right, I'm about to get some of those locked in. Isn't the December SAT the easiest? No. No, it is not. Guys, first of all, as of this year, apparently we can't predict SAT difficulty anymore. Like before this year, it was pretty like standard, but this year it's completely random. Also, last year the December SAT was hard, so I don't know what you guys were thinking, but it was very hard. There were a ton of new question types, okay? And so I actually think there will be new question types. However, that doesn't mean it's hard. For example, in August, there were a ton of new question types, but it honestly like, wasn't that hard. Yeah. Any last minute tips? If I could think of one last minute tip, what would it be? One thing that's going to increase your score by the most. I feel like I've been saying this a lot, but you want to make sure that on the reading section you are not guessing and checking. Like you should, especially on the actual reading passages, you should be answering the question before you read the answer choices. You will save so much time. Okay, so I'll let you guys look at this question for a second. When I walked out of the testing center, did I think I made a 1600? Well, first of all, I didn't get a 1600. I got a 1570. But when I walked out of the testing center, I low-key thought I got like a 1520. I was very disappointed. Not a 1520 is a great score, but like I was practicing at higher than that, and I was like disappointed in myself. I thought I underperformed, and I didn't. But guys, that just shows like do not try to like guess your score after the test, guys. It's actually like a goober activity to try to guess your score, guys. And it causes pandemonium, right? It causes pandemonium. Guys, don't say that. Do not say that, all right? Do not say goodbye, guys. All right, we're going to do this question. So in this question, what we have here is usually in boundary questions, we're going to figure out like does before and after the boundary, can they be their own sentences or not, right? And based on that, we have our different punctuation marks we can use, which by the way, I outline that on my cheat sheets that are on my resources page, or on the English cheat sheet at least. When we have two different punctuation spots though, it's kind of hard, right? It's kind of hard because we can't do that. And so instead we're just going to like look through these low key. So we're going to start from the start of the sentence, it looks like. So it says, these researchers, so we're going to start here. So Icelandic geologist Arnar Sveinsson, I can't pronounce his name, who had no formal academic training but became an expert through decades of fieldwork, recorded a rare subglacial eruption in 2011 that was officially documented on June 29, 2012. Okay, it looks like if I end it there, it makes sense as its own sentence. Now let's read after that. And this blank should not be like an actual like word, right? So roughly 6 weeks earlier, Sveinsson's eruption data had been unexpectedly lost during transport to Reykjavik, and frustrated, he never attempted to recreate the measurements. That makes sense, right? So it ends up being like that makes sense after as its own sentence as well. So we would need something like a period to separate them, right? A period or a semicolon or a comma fambos or something, right? So it has to be a there, right? How do we get the prediction questions for practice? Everything is on the resources page, guys. If you ever need, maybe I'm going to change this in the future, but as of now, like if you ever need resources, they're all on the resource page and they're free. All right. They're free. And in fact, like I don't sell any resources. All the resources I have are free. The only thing I sell is like tutoring and like courses. But like, what's the point of like hiding a resource behind like a paywall when there's like so many free resources? Like I literally just pull together like all the resources I think are helpful for you guys. Okay. So let's talk about why it's not D, because it's low key confusing why it's not D. So D grammatically makes sense here because like I could put a dash here and it'll still make sense, but it wouldn't make sense to say like this would imply that the 2019-2012 was 6 weeks earlier than 2011, which obviously is not the case. Like 2012 is not 6 weeks earlier, right? And so that's why D is wrong. Where are the resources? tutoredbydesign.com/resources. All right, tutoredbydesign.com/resources. By the way, guys, if you guys are taking the March SAT or any SAT in 2026, I will be opening up the mastery registration for my mastery course probably in like a week or so. Once I like fully finish the lesson plans, the last two mastery courses went really well, and it's going to be great. We're going to have more time than ever to prepare, so I will be able to really go in depth even more than I try to. Okay, let's take a look at some of these questions you guys have sent me now. Let's take a look at some of the questions you guys have sent me now. So let's do, oh my God, guys, this question here. All right, this question throws you guys for a loop. All right, base is, all right, let's fix this. All right, guys, if you see this question on the SAT, are you cooked or not? If you see this question on the SAT, are you cooked or not? What do we think? If you see this question on the SAT, are you cooked? Low key, you might be. Low key, you might be. Guys, do you have college decisions coming out today? Some people have college decisions coming out today. I don't even know what time it is, but soon, right? Can I cover number 6 on practice reading? Yeah, I will. I'm low key gonna forget. All right. Okay, guys. On this question, how in the world are we gonna solve this? All right, how in the world are we gonna solve this? Right? How in the world are we gonna do this? So, low key, it's not that bad. All you need to know is that in a regular shape, if I don't know the area of a regular shape, I can always just turn it into a triangle. Right? So if I have a triangle here, like these are all going to be equal triangles. So regular shape means all the side lengths are the same, right? I could do a square as well. It's not going to be a square. It's going to be a rectangle and then 2 triangles. But so I can do this, and I know that if these angles are going to add up to 360, then each of these angles are 60. I also know that the distance from the center to the vertices, basically the edges, the corners, are going to be the same, which means that these angles will also be the same. And these angles, if the triangle has to add up to 180, then these are going to add up to 120 because I already took 60 out. And so each of them are going to be 60 if they're the same. So this ends up actually becoming an equilateral triangle. So I'm going to just take one of these triangles out and look at what would happen. Well, if the base is 34 and this is an equilateral triangle, we need to know this, that if I cut this down the middle, I'll create a 30, 60, 90, right? And so this is also going to be 34 because it's an equilateral triangle. And so I know that in an equilateral triangle, across from the 90 is 2x, across from the 60 is x root 3, and across from the 30 is just x. And so this x root 3 is going to be, well, 2x is going to equal the 34, right? And so x is going to be 17. And so this is 17 root 3. Now, why is that important? Because now I can find out the area, right? The area is just 1/2 base times height. So it's going to be 1/2 times the base of 34, right? This base is 34 times the height of 17 root 3. And now if I have to find the area of this whole thing, well, there's 6 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Not a 7th one, right? 6, not 7, right? So then we're going to multiply this by 6 because there's 6 of them. And then we have to multiply it by the height because this is going to give us the area of this base. And then we just have to multiply it by the height. So like 1/2 times 34 times 17 times 6 times, we'll have what, 22. That's going to give us this. And then I didn't put the square root 3 on it because I wanted to just look at it like this. And then we end up getting this, right? Because it's 38148 square root 3. How do I do radians and circles? Like if area has a, I'm low-key gonna do arc sector question. Arc sector questions are they're overlooked, guys. They're overlooked. It's unfortunate. Guys, like up the stream, check out tutorbydesign.com and lock in. All right. By the way, guys, tomorrow morning I better not see you all scrolling on TikTok, except if you're watching my videos. But do not doom scroll TikTok. And in fact, I'm about it. Oh my God, guys. I say 6, 7 once. But anyway, low-key, the chat is so behind. It's so annoying. It's like 10 seconds behind. I feel like I'm talking to myself, guys. Maybe preempt what I'm going to say, guys, so I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. Yeah. So anyway, what we want to do is, and yeah, this is easy, guys. That's the idea, right? The idea is to make the hard questions feel easy, right? For mod 2, should I read notes just to make sure? No, read the question and then read the answer choices. If more than one of the answer choices is doing the correct thing, then you'll read the answer choices, right? So guys, by the way, there is no SAT question that is actually bad because every single SAT question can be pushed into like one of like maybe 15 categories. I don't know exactly how many it is, but it's like 15 categories. If you just know all of those topics, you're going to get every question right. You're going to get a 1600, literally. All right. Okay. 1600, guys. Someone says that they took a practice test today, got a 770 math, one question wrong in the first module English, but got so many wrong on module 2. And what should you do for module 2 of SAT English to get your score up? You need to make sure that you are locked in on grammar and like transition and notes. You also need to make sure, guys, you need to do the actual reading questions last. You also need to make sure that you are summarizing the passages you don't understand. The second, guys, I'm telling you, the second you don't understand a passage, here's what you're going to do. You're going to look back at the passage and try to summarize each sentence in a very basic way and then figure out what is the whole passage saying as a whole. The second you know the main idea of the passage, you're probably going to get the question right. And then you're going to answer the question before you read the answer choices, right? Can I do this for all kind of prisms? Yes. As long as the base is constant throughout, like it doesn't like slope in or something like that, you can do this for any type of prism. It's just base times height, right? And that's honestly like a pretty interesting thing to know, right? That's honestly a pretty interesting thing to know, right? Is the strat when you start reading to do straight grammar then work backwards? No. The strat is whatever order makes it so that question 10 to 15, like the hard reading, are last. So if you go backwards, you're gonna end up doing the hard reading in the middle, which is not a good idea, guys. Not a good idea. Guys, what have you been using to practice for the SAT? I would love to know, right? Like other than my resources, what do you guys think is the best thing for your SAT, right? Let's see. Bear Roblox Experience says, thanks for teaching me. I got a 970 on my SAT. You got me up. I got you, Bear Roblox Explorer. I got you, bro. Okay. Let's take a look. I'm going to skip this one because it's very common. By the way, guys, I want to point something out because I saw someone ask this recently. It was on Reddit, actually. One of you guys sent it to me. They said that like every question that Tutor by Design posts are extremely hard for me. Am I cooked? The answer is no. I literally only post questions that like are like challenging for 1400 and 1500 plus scorers, because it's a waste of time to post like teaching you how to like solve a one system equation. Like I'm never going to post like 2x plus 20 equals like 30. All right, to each their own. Some people can do that, but I'm not going to waste your guys' time like that, right? So even if you're struggling with my stuff, like that doesn't mean you're cooked. All right, it does not mean you're cooked. It does not mean you're cooked. All right, let's see here. You guys are all sending me math questions. I low-key want to do a reading question. All right, let's do this one. But the answer is there. It ruins it. The answer's there. Yo, let's do. Someone asked me to do number 6. I low-key think that I know which question that is, and it's really hard. It's really, really hard if it's the one that I'm thinking of. We're about to do a reading question, guys. Number 6 on my practice test. What did you guys get on my practice test? Well, it was only one module, but what did you get? Number 6. Okay, this is not the one. All right, this is low-key like an extremely long passage, guys. Extremely long. All right. Do math. We're gonna do both, guys. We need to lock in on both. All right. Let's see. Answer choice C and D. Let's put C here. I really like this question, guys. I really, really like this question here. Let's fix that. I really like this question, guys. Yo, I should start doing like weekly live streams where I do like actual lessons, but like maybe I'll do that. No more 6-7. We're hitting the big 26, bro. What comes after 20? What comes after the year 26, y'all? 2027, right? All right, guys. How are we gonna do this? All right. By the way, guys, here's how you know you're cooked on an SAT question: is if, and this low-key looks weird. Let's separate this. You know you're cooked on a question if the answer choices are all longer than the actual passage, okay? Also, by the way, guys, my math practice test is a little harder than the SAT. A little by like, it depends on the day, but like 5 to 20% harder. So if you got like a little lower, like you're probably getting lower on my practice test than you're going to get on the SAT. So like if you got like a 720 on my practice English, you're probably going to do pretty well tomorrow, all right? So let's do this question, guys. Let's do this question. All right, let's do this question. So we want to find a quotation. I love quotation questions because they're very straightforward. That most effectively supports the claim. So where's the claim? Okay, we have a student in, by the way, all of this, tutorbydesign.com/resources. But let's look. A student in a political science course is writing a paper on Aristotle's The Politics, in which he offers his opinion on political instability and gives advice on how constitutions can be preserved. He observes that different forms of government can fall in different ways, but some blah blah blah. For example, oligarchies might grant power to military leaders during wartime who refuse to relinquish power, or who refuse to relinquish that power during peacetime, right? But some methods of preserving order apply across all forms of government. The student claims, all right, so now we're getting into the claim, that in particular, Aristotle asserts that in a healthy state, obedience to law must be as close to absolute as possible, and that even minor infractions should be ignored. Okay, what is the claim? The claim is that if I want to keep my government safe, I need extreme law and order. Everyone needs to be following the rules. Nobody can be doing anything wrong, and if they do, they need to be extremely punished, like punished to a crazy degree. Okay, even minor infractions should not be ignored. Maybe I'm over exaggerating a little, right? But even minor infractions should be punished, right? So I'm gonna find a quotation that does that. This is what I'm talking about, of thinking before you answer the question. Okay, this is going to help you guys, I promise. So I'm looking for an answer that shows that we need extreme law and order, and we need there to be punishments no matter what someone does. If someone freaking like spits on the ground, all right, they're getting punished, all right? When constructing his argument regarding the characteristics of a well-functioning government, Aristotle asserts that transgression creeps in unperceived and at last ruins a state. Transgression is like not following like order. I can't think of an actual synonym, but we could just leave it like that, right? Illustrating this idea with a comparison to frequent small expenditures slowly and almost imperceptibly chipping away at a fortune until it is ultimately depleted. So frequent small expenditures, so frequent small problems will chip away until it ultimately depletes everything. So like even small problems can ultimately ruin everything, right? Okay, so that looks pretty good, right? That low-key looks good. Now B, when contrasting different forms of government, he holds that oligarchies may last not from any inherent instability. So from, this is not right. This is talking about how oligarchs act, right? But that is not what he's talking about here. He's talking about how we should be punishing the people that are not good, right? So C, when Aristotle considers the health of constitutions, he states that constitutions are preserved when their destroyers are at a distance, and sometimes also because they are near, for the fear of them makes the government keep in hand the constitution. He holds that rulers who wish to see constitution preserved must continually remind the populace of the dangers that result from a constitutional collapse. Okay, C looks tempting. C looks tempting. Just because it's basically saying like the main idea here is that like constitutions need to be like, we need to make sure that nobody destroys the constitution. We need to keep it upheld, and we need to make sure that the rulers are constantly reminding the people that they need to listen to the constitution. But that's not exactly what we're saying. We're saying here that even small problems are going to cause a big like fall. Wouldn't the would you consider a constitution falling to be a small problem, to be a small infraction? Right? Not really. Okay. I would not consider a constitution falling to be a minor infraction. So I'm be a little careful there. A little careful there. Right? D says when Aristotle writes of the necessity of avoiding corruption in government, he proposes that every state should be so administered and so regulated by law that its magistrates cannot possibly make money. This is referring just to the leaders, but that's not what Aristotle was talking about. He was talking about everyone needs to follow law and order. So it's going to end up being that D is wrong as well. It's going to end up being A. Okay. All right, let's see what everyone just said in the chat. Let's zoom out. Let's see what you guys have been saying while I was doing this. Let's see here. I need help. I'm a senior. My last SAT is tomorrow and I barely have studied. I needed a 100-point jump. All right. First, you should reflect on why in the world you are a senior and you decided to wait until the last day to study when you needed a 100-point increase. But don't spend too much time doing that, because now you need to lock in for the next however many hours. I literally have no clue. I have no sense of time right now. I can't see the time. So it's probably like 6 o'clock, right? Yeah, it's 5:45. All right. So I guess I do have a clock. But anyway, then you are going to make sure your grammar is perfect. You're going to make sure that your math and Desmos knowledge is locked, and then you're going to go to sleep. All right. And you're going to pray. All right. Simple as that. All right. Like, there's really nothing you can do, guys. In one day, you are not improving your SAT score by a lot. I promise you guys this. All right. And before some keyboard warrior comes in chat telling me, well, I studied for 2 days and my score increased by 300 points. Okay. Very, very rarely might that happen. And it probably just increased because you got smarter in the time. But just studying for a day, guys, it is not enough. You guys need to actually like use your brains here, guys. It's a test, right? You know, if you're trying to pass a very hard test, you can't study for like a day, right? It's not going to work. Let's see. Let's look at some questions that you guys sent me. Let's see. Let's see. Some of these questions are good, but like, right. Okay, I like this question, guys. I like this question. Let's make this bigger. I'm gonna just type it out. For f of x equals x minus a, x minus b, a and b are positive integers, positive integer constants. It says f of 34 is greater than 0. It says f of 37 is less than 0. This should be a lowercase f. 37 is less than 0. And f of 40 is greater than 0. And we want to say find a possible value of a plus b. Oh, yeah, guys, stop spamming. Loki, I need to get mods, bro. I need to get mods. Nah, I'm not that famous. But guys, speaking of mods, because something I low-key do need mods for is join my Discord server if you are applying to college, guys. All right? We have a Discord server with about 1,200 people that are applying to college this year, next year, or sometime. Okay? And it's on my researches page. I'm not sure which link it is. But we have a ton of stuff in there, right? We're actually the unofficial resource. We're the unofficial Discord server of College Base. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? You think I could get a loaner? Most schools have loaners. Is there a specific order in doing the English modules? Yeah, just any order that makes number 10 and 15 be last. And then the math, like, it doesn't really matter. But if you're someone that really struggles with time, do the open response first. So because like it's harder to guess an open response. Guys, do not buy or do anything with a December SAT leak. I guarantee you, actually I shouldn't guarantee, but you are most likely 95 out of 100 times getting scammed. In fact, fun fact, one of my students today was trying to go on one of the websites that like they do leaks. They weren't like going for the leaks, but they had posted a prediction module and they saw that these guys have leaks and they click on it to see what it is. And you have to put in the last 4 digits of your social security number and your mother's maiden name to get these leaks. And then God knows you might have to pay too. Guys, please get a grip. You guys have lost your mind. You guys have actually lost your mind. Okay. Okay, here's what we should do here, guys. We have for x minus a, x minus b, a and b are positive integer constants, and then we're given this. All right, so here's what's going to happen. First of all, the graph is going to look like this, because when I expand this, I'm going to get x squared plus dot, dot, dot. And since the front is x squared, it's going to look like this. The front is the only thing that matters when it comes to shape. Now, f of 34 is greater than 0. F of 37, so this is 34, this is 37, is less than 0. And f of 30, and then f of 40 is greater than 0. So the graph could look something like this, right? Doesn't really matter exactly where. So what we need to do is we need to remember or realize, oh my God, I actually hate when this freaking thing starts moving. If you guys pay close attention, you guys will see the camera literally moves, bro. It's actually demonic. Okay, it's crazy. Right? It's crazy. So why do I know this, by the way, guys? Like, how did I get to this conclusion? It's because if I went from positive to negative, so from positive here to negative here, I definitely had to pass through the 0, right? And if I went from positive to negative or negative to positive between 37 and 40, then I had to pass through 0 somewhere, right? And so remember that this is going to be, let's just say x equals a, like this will be the value, right? And so what I get is, as a factor, you set this equal to 0. So you get x minus a is equal to 0. And so one of your factors is x minus a. The other factor, let's just say this is x equals b. You set this equal to 0, you'll get x minus b equals 0. And so these are our factors. So 34 is less than a is less than 37. A has to be in between 34 and 37 because that's where my 0 is. And then 37 is less than b is less than 40 because my b is in between 37 and 40. If I add these two, right, if I just add these two, I'll get, 71 is less than a plus b is less than 77. So a plus b is in between the two. So I can put 72, 73, 74, 75, or 76, right? That's all I have to do. And I can check this if I want. Like, let's say I have x minus, I mean, I can honestly do this like in Desmos. I mean, it's like low-key not that good to do in Desmos, but like what I could do is like x minus 37. Like I could check it. I could do like x minus 35 times x minus like 38 to check. That would assume a is 35 and b is 38. And then if we look, if I click this button, this table button, I can click table. And then if we try, f of 34 will be positive, f of 37 will be negative, and f of 40 will be positive, right? And so that works, right? 67 does not work, guys. 67 is not a possible answer choice here. 67 is not a possible answer choice. Guys, if you send questions, like, don't send them with answers, because then it ruins the whole question. Like, if we know the answer, then it ruins it, right? All right, should we do a reading question, guys? When do you know when to use x1 dot dot dot? So I never use x1 dot dot dot. I'll always use x1 equals. But here's the thing, guys. I'm going to be honest. So like, I can tell you kind of like a rule of thumb, but the truth is, you need to actually, guys, this is for anything on the SAT. There is no like one size fits all. There are a ton of like times you do and don't put the x1 equals. So if I could simplify this as basic as possible, okay, as basic as possible, you put list for x1 when you're looking for values other than x, like constants other than x in a regression, and x is a variable. So like, it's true for all values of x. Also, you have to make sure that x can be several values at once. So like, for example, if I have like xy equals z, and I'm gonna for some reason do this in a regression, if x is 2, right? So look, let's say x equals z over y, let's say, right? If x equals 2, then z over y, like y will be double z, right? So that's gonna mess it up. Then if x is 3, then z over y, now z is gonna be triple y. So it's gonna keep changing z and y every time I change x. So I can't do that. What's the point of that list? It's to make sure that it works for all values of x, okay? Conceptual geo or stats question. Yeah, I will. And I'm going to do one that's going to rage bait all of you, because you guys are all going to get it wrong. It's the one that's on my predictions that everyone is in awe at. Nobody understands. But first, we're going to do it in English question. Okay, we're going to do English question first. Let's see. Let's see. Guys, what time is it for you right now? Is it the morning? Are you like on your way to take the SAT? Because some of you guys are, right? Or no, it's got to be, it's too early still. But some people, I mean, are like waking up right now to go lock in and take the SAT. Isn't that crazy, guys? Guys, should I travel to like Singapore to take the SAT 12 hours early? Would that be tough? That'd be a hard YouTube video, or like a hard video. Harder questions are worth more points. According to College Board from like a long time ago, they had said that within each section, every point is worth the same. But like, bro, like, I don't know if that's true. Tomorrow's my first SAT and I haven't studied much, and I'm taking the one in March. Should I be worried for tomorrow? Nah, just like, bro, if you know you're going to take another one, like, this is just practice. I'm taking the SAT right now and using meta glasses. Do not do that, guys. Do not use meta glasses. You will get caught. And if you don't get caught, okay, think about this. If you do get caught, your college might be cooked. Like, you might be cooked for college. It depends, right? You could be cooked for college, right? You don't want to ruin that. Best way to study for grammar is just to practice. You don't even need to use like hard practice. Like, you don't need to use like leaks or like past question types. Literally just practice on one prep. By the way, don't use leaks, guys. They're not good. All right. Anyway, and also, guys, but like in all seriousness, guys, again, I want to reiterate, if you're like thinking about paying like $200 for a leaker on Telegram to send you the December test, you are actually a fool. You are you're a buffoon. Okay, those are the only words I could use to describe that. All right, because it's not real. Okay, the leaks are not real. Okay, best strat to get good sleep, like I said earlier. Put your phone under your pillow and turn on YouTube. Guided meditation, 1 hour or something like that to fall asleep. And then turn a timer on YouTube for like 10 minutes so that the phone turns off in like 10 minutes, and then bang. Okay, look. So the question asks, based on the text, if this person and this person were aware of the findings of both experiments, what would they agree with? Okay, so this first one says that soy sauce made from fermented soybeans is noted for its umami flavor. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but so umami, one of the 5 basic tastes along with sweet, bitter, salty, and sour, was formally classified when its taste receptors were discovered in the 2000s. In 2007, to define the pure umami flavor, scientists Rai Ishii and Michael whatever used broths made from shiitake mushrooms and kombu seaweed, and 2 panels of Japanese and US judges closely agreed on the description of the taste, right? Okay, so we're talking about how there was this study, right? And what were the findings here, right? They defined the pure flavor. They used shiitake mushrooms and kombu seaweed, and they closely agreed on the description of the taste. Okay, so there's a close umami. Okay, that's better. Oh my God, no, that's not good, guys. We're gonna continue saying umami even if I'm saying it wrong. All right. Text 2, a 2022 experiment by this person led to a greater understanding of soy sauce's flavor profile. The team initially presented a mixture of compounds with low molecular weights to taste testers who found it was not as salty or bitter as real soy sauce. So we're not as salty or bitter as real soy sauce. You can't sleep. You're laying in bed in 3 hours. Honestly, if it's in 3 hours, don't go back to sleep. Unless you can go back to sleep for exactly an hour and a half. Did you guys know that? If you plan on sleeping for 8 hours tonight, don't. Sleep for either 7.5 or 9. Okay? Sleep for 7.5 or 9 hours. The closer you can get to like going on 90-minute intervals, the better. Even though our sleep cycles aren't perfect, each sleep cycle is about 90 minutes. And if you wake up outside of a 90-minute sleep cycle, it's going to be really hard for you. Okay? Trust me, I've been testing this. If you sleep, think about this. You sleep for 4.5 hours every night, I guarantee you're going to get a better sleep if it's 3 full cycles than if you sleep for like 8 hours and you wake up in the middle of a cycle. You're going to be cooked. Anyway, further analysis of soy sauce identified proteins, including dipeptides that enhance umami flavors and also contributed to saltiness. So it seems like umami is like salt, right? The team then made a mix of 50 chemical compounds that recreated soy sauce's flavor. Okay, so what we have here is that this first study, like what is the first study talking about, right? Umami was defined in the first study, it seems, with mushrooms and kombu seaweed, right? And it is formally classified. Okay, so that's good, right? They used broths, right? So they used broths originally. Now the second text, right? It seems like they discovered that dipeptides enhance umami flavor, right? And so what would they agree on, right? If they agreed that the broths had like the same flavor, right? Or sorry, if they're using the broth, right? If I haven't studied it all so far, I keep getting distracted. If I haven't studied it all so far, I cooked. This is the last SAT I can take. I'm a senior. Bro, just don't even think about it. Just pray, guys. But anyway, so the team, it looks like they showed that dipeptides are important, right? They showed that dipeptides are important. And it looks like in the first one, it's just talking about how they use like broths to like find the description of the taste. So maybe in the first, I'm thinking like in the first text, like they weren't aware of the dipeptides possibly, or like the dipeptides allow for a stronger explanation or something like that, right? And so what might we want to say the answer is then? What might we want to say the answer? So A says, on average, the diets of people in the U.S. tend to have fewer foods. Okay, it has nothing to do with what people in the U.S. and Japan eat, right? Chemical compounds that activate both umami and salty taste receptors tend to have a higher molecular weight. We didn't talk about molecular weight in the first one. Fermentation introduces, we didn't talk about fermentation. The broths in the 2007, like see how quickly you can get it like out, right? The broth in the 2007 experiment most likely did not have a substantial amount of the dipeptides that played a key part. I guess, yeah, because we were talking about here, we use broths, but dipeptides are what enhance the umami flavor, right? And so, like if we, like I guess here we introduce the dipeptides, right? This is low-key a hard question. It's low-key a hard question. Is it a good idea to take another practice test? No, guys. Well, unless you're in Western time, I would not take another practice test by now. In fact, like honestly, bro, it's 6 o'clock, guys. You shouldn't be doing really any studying, guys. Like you should be asleep in like 3 hours. Go hit the gym. Like I'm being so serious, guys. Hitting the gym right now is a better idea than studying. All right, hitting the gym is a better idea than studying. Okay. Last minute reviews, because it's my last time taking the SAT, just submitting to colleges. Review the cheat sheets, guys. The cheat sheets will save you, y'all. The cheat sheets are going to save you. Okay. Formulas, guys. I'm not going to go over formulas just because it's literally all on my cheat sheet. Look. This is on my resources page. Look at all the math equations that you can do. All right. All of these equations are on the cheat sheet. right? Looks like there's 20 of you already locked in on these cheat sheets right now, okay? And then same for English. Same for English, guys. These are mostly like grammar rules. Is a 1400 bad? No, it is not bad. A 1400 is a very good score. It's better than like most people, okay? Can I hop on Fortnite? Sure. Sure. Choose answers if the words are explicitly... Do we choose answers if the words are explicitly in the reading? Like, just seeing a word doesn't immediately mean that it's an answer choice, right? Do it say head of a cone? All right, I am. I'm going to do that, guys. Bro, actually, I'm not. Because you guys are not going to see that question, guys. Guys, here's what you guys have to escape the trap of. The hard questions that showed up on the last SAT are probably not going to show up again this month. Think about it. All right. Let's see. By the way, guys, you want me to answer a question? Email it there. What the heck? Okay. Should we do an SAT question? That requires you to do a bracket? All right, I'm about to just spam you guys low key. Hold on. I need to. All right. Everything you need for the SAT is right there. All right. Everything you need for the SAT is right there. All right. Anyway, let's look. So, how do you work with function? Let's look at you know what? Let's do a surface area question. All right. I want to do a surface area question. I'm gonna do a really hard one actually. Hold on. I'm about to pull from the depths of the down under a question. Okay, I found it. It wasn't that hard. Okay, here. Let's see. Why is this so tiny? By the way, this question is not mine. All credit to crack.it for this question. This question is not mine. I do not own this question. I think I've made myself clear, right? Okay, this is not my question. I do not own this question. All credit, all glory to Cracked for this. All right. See here. Can I go over a quadratic? Low key, I'll go over a quadratic after this. Because that question you're going to see. You're going to see a quadratic, y'all. The SAT is repetitive, so why wouldn't it? Yes, okay, you're going to see the topics, but like, think about this. So surface area is on most SATs. Now, if they ask, there's like so many different shapes they could ask a surface area question on. So if they asked us a cone last time, they're probably not going to ask a cone this time. Sum of solutions can be asked in a ton of different ways. So if they asked sum of solutions last time with one way, they're probably not going to ask it again this time the same way. Like, they're going to ask it a different way. Is Cracked a W resource? I low-key think Cracked is like really good for like very hard questions. Like, their very hard questions are pretty good. Pretty good, yeah. I honestly haven't like looked enough into like their other stuff. Like, I don't know about like their Desmos course and whatever, but like from what I've seen of their hard practice questions, they're pretty hard. Okay, let's do this. Where can I find the cheat sheets? You literally go to the link I just sent and it says SAT cheat sheets. All right. Literally says SAT cheat sheets. Okay. So we have a right square pyramid with a volume of 400 cubic inches and a slant height of 13 inches. And we have that the pyramid's height, or we want where the pyramid's height, base, length, and slant height are all integers, and we want to find the surface area. Okay. What is the surface area of a square pyramid, guys? Instead of trying to show you guys how to do it, because by this point, it is definitely not... I mean, honestly, like, it's not hard. I'm going to just show you guys, actually. Let's get a square pyramid math. I'm going to get a picture of it because I don't want to have to draw this and then draw back and then draw poorly. There's a really good diagram that I love. I guess it's not here right now. Let's just do this. Okay. Let's take a screenshot of this. Okay, so in this diagram, right, what we're going to know is that this is x and this is x, right? And then this is, again, if it is a square pyramid. What I can do is I need to figure that when I lay this out flat, I'm going to have these triangles. All right, this is a terribly drawn triangle, but I'm going to have these triangles. This is x by x. And the triangle here, okay, so I have x, and then the height is the height. It's not the height. Okay, the x is not the height. If the screen's blurry, just change the quality to 1080p. You should be good. Let's see. Am I tweaking? No, the quality should be fine. It's just you. So anyway, this is not the height. This is the slant height. Because think about it like this. This is the slant height of that triangle. See how the slant height is what's connected? The height of the triangle is like connected right here, right? And so what you do is you say, okay, I need to find the slant height by saying that I'm actually going to draw it this way. I'm going to have that this is the height. This is the slant height that I need to find. And this is 1/2 of the x value. See how it's a half of the x because it goes to the middle? So the slant height squared, I can use the Pythagorean theorem. So 1/2 x squared plus I'll have h squared equals s squared. By the way, this is a very hard question. I'm gonna say, right? So I have this, right? And then I also know that the volume is 400. The volume of a pyramid is 1/2 length with height, or it's 1/3. Sorry, it's 1/3 length with height. And so I can say that I'm going to have 1/3. The length and width are the same. So 1/3 x squared h. So that equals 400, right? I know that the slant height is 13. So this is 13 squared. So bang, I have two equations, right? I have this equation, this equation. I'm going into Desmos and doing it. Okay. I'm going to use a bracket right here because I have two different equations that I need to find the values in. So I'm going to use a bracketed list. I'm going to have 1/2 x. Let's put this here. 1/2 x squared plus h squared, and this should be at x1 squared plus h squared, and then I have a comma, and then I have 1/3 x1 squared h, and then this is equivalent to 13 squared comma 400, and bang, it gives me my answer. Now if it didn't give me the answer, what you would do, because like if it didn't give me that they were both integers, what you would do is just make like a slider for h, give it a step of 1, let it go up to like 30, and then move h around until h and x are both integers. And so once it looks like once h is 12, they'll both be integers. How do I know when to use the brackets? That's when I have more than one equation. Guys, Bluebook is a scam. Okay, Bluebook is a scam. And I'm not even saying this to be self-serving. Bluebook is an absolute slaughterhouse scam. Okay? I shouldn't say that. All right? All right? College Board's going to come for me. But the Bluebook tests are just too easy. They're just too easy. Okay, they're too easy. Do a circle question. All right, what type of circle question are we about to do then? Should we do arcs and sectors? We could either do arcs and sectors. All right, I need your opinion. Arcs and sectors, graphing a circle, or we can do unit circle. Graphing a circle, arc and sector, or unit circle. If you get this on the test or walking out, this low-key isn't that hard. There are so many harder surface area questions. Unit conversion, low-key, yes. I need to do unit conversion question as well. That's an important question. As well. Any predictions, guys? Some people saying it's going to be easy. Guys, no one knows how hard it is going to be. And anyone telling you, unfollow anyone telling you they know how easy or hard the test is going to be. I'm telling you. Unless they say it's going to be hard and their reasoning is that every test is hard. Because like I know like, you know, Ryan, my boy Ryan, SAT prep says that because like obviously that's true. Like every test is like hard. But like if anyone says like, oh, it's going to be easier than ever, it's going to be harder than ever, guys, they're all just like, it's just rage bait. It's not even rage bait. It's like engagement bait. Let's see. Arc and sector, unit circle, trig, sector. Looks like you guys want all of them. Let's see. One prep. I don't like one prep's practice tests. I think practice test 10 English is harder and practice test 8's math is harder. Let's do arc and sector. I'm going to do a hard arc and let's do a simple one first and then we'll do a hard one. I'll do two. Let's do this. Yo, I low-key need to make a new video of like the best SAT resources. I guess like there's no point because it's just everything on my site, but like I need to make a YouTube video because like the one I have uploaded right now is outdated. By the way, if you guys need a last minute grammar review, I have it uploaded here. Also like all the past months reviews are here as well. Okay, so like let's do this. Alright, so arc, like I low-key have a hunch that you're going to see this on the test. I'm going to be super sad if it's not. This month. Yo, we have to do vertex formula, guys. I keep forgetting. Oh my goodness, guys. How's plain test? Yo, plain test is underrated, guys. Plain test is underrated. Play and test is very underrated, guys. All right. Play and test. DSATUZ is a little underrated. Yo, I don't think a single one of you could go resource for resource with me. I'll give you the craziest resources, bro. All right. But look. By the way, guys, I want to point something out. If you've done every single resource that I have on my page, you have literally solved especially for the math, you've solved literally every single hard math question type that has shown up since like August. Okay. Okay. So you are going to be good. All right. You're going to be good. Top 3 practice tests I want to do, like none. Practice test 6 English I think is pretty good. Practice test 7 is pretty all right. AI websites are they're goobers. They're goobers. All right. I don't like AI websites. They're terrible. All right. Look. So here, how do we do this question? With arc length and sector area, we need to know this. We need to know that the arc length of a circle is going to equal the circumference times the angle over 360, where the central angle is what that x is, right? We need to know that sector area, the sector area, is equal to the area of the circle times x over 360. This could also be times theta over 2 pi. This could also be times theta over 2 pi. Or I should say this is equal, because those are the same thing. This is if I'm in radians, right? Equals area times theta over 2 pi, right? And so what I know is that the arc length here is 4 pi, okay? Always you're going to immediately plug into arc length or sector area formula, because that's always what you're doing when you have these, right? So I know that my arc length of 4 pi equals my circumference of 2 pi r. So we could say 2 pi r. I'm not even going to do this. I'm just going to find the circumference for now. Times 50 over 360. And that's going to give me the circumference. The circumference is, I'll multiply both sides by 360. So I'll multiply each side by 360 over 50 to get rid of this, right? So I get, what's 4 times 360 over 50? I get 28.8. So 28.8 pi is the circumference, but that's not what the question wants. They want the length of ADB. So what we need to do there is we're going to go back to this equation, but we need to figure out what's my x. My x is going to be whatever this angle is, which if the total here is 360, then this angle is 310, right? And so I'm going to do 28.8 pi times, so that's the circumference, times my x is 310 over 360. So that's over 360, so it's literally just this times 310 over 360. So it's 24.8 pi. 24.8 pi. So it's C. All right. Should we do a unit circle question? Nah, let's do a vertex formula question. Should I do the one? Should I do some of the questions that were in my predictions that were like really hard? Let's do that for a little bit. All right, this is the first one. I low-key think you're gonna see a question like question 3 from the predictions. I have a hunch, but like you're probably gonna see question 4, something like that, right? All right, we need to know how to do these questions, guys. We need to know how to do these questions. Okay, we need to know. What time is it, guys? Let's see, guys. It is so hard to not scroll on your phone for an hour straight. It is so hard. Okay, not scrolling for a whole hour is like so challenging. Okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to do here? All right, so for this question, what we might want to do is we have basically that a ball is thrown from a height of 48 feet and above the ground, right? And we have that, so that's a point, by the way, on this function. We have the point 0, 48, right? And then we also have that it reaches the maximum height of 5, 98, because that's 98 feet tall after 5 seconds. And it's known that the ball reaches a height of 66 feet q seconds after it's thrown, and we want to find that it's in the air for r seconds. What's a possible value of q plus r? So what I'm going to do is I might think, okay, let's put this in a table. Let's put in 0, 48 and 5, 98. And then I can say, all right, let's do this, and it's quadratic, right? It tells me it's quadratic. But this is not a quadratic where the maximum is 5, 98. So I'm like, wait, I'm cooked. This is where the vertex formula comes into play. I know that the vertex formula is a times x minus h squared plus k, where hk is the vertex, so hk is this. And so it's a times x minus 5 squared plus 98. And so I can write y1, instead of writing this terrible regression, I can write y1 is equivalent to a times x1 minus 5 squared plus 98, and it gives me my graph, right? Gives me my graph. And so now what I can do is I can say, okay, if it's at 66 feet at q seconds, I can write y equals 66. And so the x values that I can get here are either 1 or 66. So q could either equal 1 or 9. And then r, how long is it in the air? Well, it's going to be back at 0 at 12. So r equals 12. So q plus r could either equal 13 or 21. Now, could I put in a table and add the other point 10, 48? Yes, you can. Why can you do that? It's because if I have 2 points, let's just say I have the point like 2, 12 and like 10, 12, and those are both on the on a vertex, or sorry, on a quadratic. If they have the same y value, then the h is going to be the average of the two. So the h will be 2 plus 10 over 2, right? So it'll be 6. And so if I know here that my h is 5, then like if I make a point that has the same y value as this 0 gives me, then 0 plus x need to average out to 5. So if I put 10, now I do have 3 points. And then I can click this and I can do the quadratic, and then I get the same graph. And then the second part becomes the same. You do need to memorize this formula. It is probably I'm trying to think if there's any more important formulas that you should know. Probably the most important formula that you can know for the SAT. That's like not one that you already know. Like other than like Pythagorean theorem and all that stuff. What are the formulas we need? Guys, they are all on, look, guys. tutoredbydesign.com/resources. You go to where it says SAT cheat sheet. It literally says it. Then you're going to go in, and you're going to go here, right? Back up, right? And it's all right here. All the math formulas that you would probably need to know are here. This is not a full list. I'm not putting questions like, I didn't put the Pythagorean theorem. Actually, maybe I did, but like really, really obvious ones are not there, all right? Couldn't you instead use the maximum as the middle and know where the third point is? Yes, that's what I show that you can do, right? All right, let's look here. Let's go back here. Let's do a unit circle question, guys. I'm feeling it. I need to do a reading question though as well, but what did you guys think? I'm not going to do this question right now, but just to flash the question, what did you guys think about this question that I posted a couple days ago? Did you guys think it was crazy? Did you guys think it was crazy? I low-key thought it was a good question. I liked it. But let's do... let's actually do this. I'm going to do a harder unit circle question. Where is it? Okay, let's back up here. Let's go up. Let's see here. What in the world? What in the world? Let's... what's the easiest question I can do here? Or not the easiest, what's the hardest? Let's find a very hard question that I can do. Why make it easy when we can make it impossible? Oh my gosh, I'm going to pull up... no, I'm not going to do that. This is a ridiculous question. Let's do... I'm going to do this one because I low-key think it's not that hard. Actually, we're going to do this. Because it's like actually not hard. Is there a question? Is there a question? All right, let's see. All right. Can you do a quadratic? Yes, I'll do the a plus b plus c eventually. You just have to remind me, guys. I have a very bad memory, guys. I don't understand the question. The chat is pure cope. Bro, everyone that... Bro, here's the thing, guys. The people that are getting 1600s, right? They either one are very smart or two are asleep right now or whatever because they just finished paying their $10,000 SAT course, right? And doing whatever, right? Actually, maybe like that's not everyone, but the idea is, guys, actually, I shouldn't even say that, but like, I don't even know where I was going with that. I guess I was trying to make the point, guys, do you know that the SAT is a better indicator of family income than it is of intelligence? Did you know that? That's a crazy stat. That's a crazy stat. Okay, this question, guys, you should be able to solve this in like 30 seconds. You should be able to solve this in 30 seconds. What the heck? Do you know how to solve this in 30 seconds? What the heck? Okay, here's what we do. So we have that this equation only has, it says no real solutions. When I have a quadratic of ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, we have that b squared minus 4ac, which is the discriminant. If it's greater than 0, then I'll have 2 solutions. If I have equal to 0, then I'll have 1 solution. And if it is less than 0, I'll have 0 solutions. Okay? And so here, the b squared minus 4ac is less than 0. And so the b is 88 squared minus 4 times a is a and c is c, and that's less than 0. So 88 squared, I get 7744. I'm going to add this to the other side. Is less than 4ac. Divide both sides by 4. You get 1936 is less than AC. Or this is 1936, sorry. So what's the least possible integer value of AC? It's 1937. It's 1937, not 1936, because if it's less than AC, then the next integer is 1937, right? Oh, don't say that, guys. Come on. Don't use this language. Now I need to time you guys out. No profanity in this chat, guys. No profanity in this chat. All right. Okay. Let's do unit conversion. Let's do a unit conversion. In fact, I'm going to do a hard unit conversion. Actually, no. All right. I'm about to give you guys this question because everyone was complaining to me. You guys are all complaining to me. And you guys are all wrong. Okay. You guys are all wrong. I can admit when I get a question wrong, but I'm not wrong. Okay. This question is going to ruin your perfect score. I literally don't understand. I'm so over it. If you don't understand anything here, go watch like Khan Academy videos and don't waste your time watching the live stream. It's not going to help you. All right. Is the kx plus j? Yes, it is. It's trying to trick you. There's no reason for that. There's no reason for the kx plus j. It's just like irrelevant. Okay. Okay. What might we want to do for a question like this? We have that data set A, the b squared, it's just the equation. So thinking about the last question, the quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This part is the discriminant. Okay. Can I do this on Desmos? Like, nah. It's a colossal waste of time. So yeah, guys, by the way, you guys shouldn't just pattern recognize because like you guys probably know it's A because you've done it. But why is it A? I would want you guys, can you guys actually articulate why it's A? Can anyone articulate why it's A? Can anyone articulate why it's A? So basically, if I have a data set with 115 points, right, then it's going to be the minimum is 18 and then the maximum is 124. So there's at least 1 point here and 1 point here. And then I have 113 points at least in between, right? And so if I add 115, right, that's bigger, or 125, sorry, that's bigger than every point. So the mean must get bigger, right? The mean must get bigger. So that's true. Now the median does not, because what if every other point was the same exact thing? Like then the median would not change, right? It would stay the same because like every single number is the same, right? And so median, no. Now standard deviation, right, is a tricky one because we talk about how when we increase the range, we're usually going to increase the standard deviation, which is usually true. But this is a very rare example where it's not. And it's because of this. We know this, well, we don't know the standard deviation is going to change. It's that we don't know which way, and here's why. Standard deviation is a measure of, on average, how far is each point from the mean. So let's say, originally, our data set looked something like this. So we had 18, 124, and 125, and obviously I'm not going to give every single dot, but then we have like a ton of points at 20, and then like we have a ton of points at like 80. Let's make it be like 40, or no, let's make it be like 60. Okay, so like all the rest of the points are at either 20 or 60. The average here is going to be about 40, right? The average is going to end up being about 40. And so like all the points are kind of far away. Like the 20 is far away, the 60 is far away, the 18 is far away, the 124 is far away. So they're all far. But the mean, that's not even important. What happens is the mean is, and in fact, let me make this even better. So instead of making it 20 and 60, let's literally make all the points either 39 or 41. Okay, so all the rest of the points are one of these. So the mean is going to be about 40, okay? And the standard deviation is going to be very low, because most of the points are clustered together. So if I add the point 125, that is so far from the mean, it's, 85 or so away from the mean, it's going to increase the standard deviation because it's so far away. But what if my points were super close to 125? Like all the points were at either 124 or 123, right? And then maybe I had like some amount of points like over here that are going to make the standard deviation become more because they're far from the mean. But like then like maybe there's like 6 points here at 19, and then every other point is at 23 or 24. It just goes on forever. Then 125, adding it is going to decrease the standard deviation because it's so close to the mean. So we actually can't tell. Now I want to point something out. Think about this. So if I had that my range is 106, the furthest that any point can be from the mean, is 106, right? Like if the mean was 18, then 124 is 106 away. So the max the standard deviation could possibly be is 106, like in the worst case scenario. So if I added the point of like 400 here, that is further away from, like that is so much further away from anything. It's, it's another, if this is the point of 400, then this is another 276 away, that it has to increase the standard deviation. Then I know that the standard deviation must increase because it's so further away from everything else. It's so much further from everything else that it has to be more than anything else could have been, right? Yeah. That's all we got to do. Okay. Yeah, 115 is irrelevant. It doesn't really matter. I mean, so if it was a really low amount of numbers, like if it was 3 numbers and I knew that one of them was 18 and one of them was 114 or 124, it was only 3 numbers. One of them has to be 18, one of them has to be 124. Then adding 125, I mean, honestly, it still wouldn't. Then adding 125 would change my median. It would increase it. Because if I only had 3 points before, then the median would have been the average of like, let's just say this is X. It would have been X, right? But if I add the point 125, now it's going to be the average of X and 124. So it becomes, I guess actually, no, you still can't, because what if X was 124, then they would both be 124, right? So yeah, hard question. Let's do this. Let's go back in time here. Back to a time of crazy days. And let's do this one. Let's do this one. You start in 18 minutes, bro. Lock in. Yo, I low-key gotta post a good luck to all you guys. It's like the first like real batch of students is starting very, very soon. I'm posting on my story. Good luck, international students. All right. What are we going to do here, guys? What are we going to do here? What are we going to do here? Guys, how are you feeling right now? Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling worried? How do you feel? Okay? You guys are going to rock the test, all right? All right, look. So in the XY plane, lines M and N are perpendicular and intersect at the point 2, 98. Yo, after this, should I run through like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. That's boring. So line N passes, so they both pass through this, and line N passes through here, and line M is passing through Q, 96, and I want to find what Q is. So what I would do is find the slope of line N, because I have 2 points, so I can find the slope, and then I need to get the perpendicular one. So 2, 98, 5, 245. Click this, it's going to give me that the slope is 49x, right? 49x. So, well, it's just 49. So if the slope is 49, then the perpendicular slope, right, we make this into a fraction if it isn't already, and then we flip it, right, 1/49. This question you can get right even if you have like a 1,000, guys, all right? So the new slope is negative 1 over 49. You flip the fraction and then you change the sign. So the new line is going to be negative 1 over 49, and that's the slope. So negative 1 over 49x plus b, because the slope of the equation of a line is mx plus b. Then all I need to do, I mean, I could do this in Desmos. There's a couple ways I can do this. Well, one, I could just plug this in. I could write that I have y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. That's one way I can do it. And so I can do y minus 98 equals, the m is negative 1 over 49 times x minus 2. And then I could plug this in. So y minus 98 equals negative 1 over 49 times x minus 2. And then I could write, it's saying that the y is 96, so y equals 96. And if I zoom out, I'll have to see when they touch, which is at 100, right? So the answer is 100. I also could have figured out the b regularly. I also could have just done this in Desmos by writing f of x equals negative 1 over 49x plus b. And then just writing f of 2 is equivalent to 98. I can do this, by the way. And then I could write like, well, I guess I could check my work this way, but then I guess I could write y equals 96. I can do this because if I have one constant in the equation and just one point on the line, I can write it like this, okay? I can write like f of 2 is equivalent to this, and it's going to guess my b, right? Pretty common question, by the way, like very common for you to have to do that. I'll give you another example of what I just showed you. What is the value of? Let's see here. Actually, no, it's here. Where is it? I have way too many tabs open. Okay, here. I feel like I haven't done enough reading questions. Okay, so like this, I just have one constant, right? You just have one constant. And so I can just go and say, like, you have one constant, 1 point. So f of x equals like 5px minus p times x minus 5 squared plus 3p. And then you literally just write f of 2 is equivalent to 12. And then f of 6. Bang. Simple. Are these questions from Mod 2? Yeah, these are like hard question types that could show up on the SAT that have shown up recently. Do you guys want to do some English questions? I'm getting bored of math. And that's hard to do. It's hard to get bored of math, but definitely is boring. Math is boring. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I should do some English? All right, let's see some of the English questions that you guys sent. Let's see. Okay. What should we do here? Grammar? Grammar? Yeah, let's do some grammar. Let's do, how about, these are all like low-key, easy. I'll pick one of these. I'll pick one from the practice test that I have for you guys. Let's do, let's do this. All right, so how are we going to do these logically complete the text questions, guys? Are you locked in for logically completing the text, or are you cooked? Are you geeked or locked in? That's the real question right now. Let's make this full screen. All right. Okay, so taking a look at this question, right? What we want to do here is practice test today, considering the real test is tomorrow. It's too late. Bro, if it's 7:30, what time is it? 6:30. I've lost my track of time. If it is 6:30, then it's too late, guys. Don't do practice test. I have been studying the whole day. Would be fine to go play Valorant now. only if you're a high rank. Because if you're not, then you shouldn't be playing Valorant. All right. Now, if I have, oh my God, I need to do these freaking quadratic questions. We are going to come back to math for sure, right? I just need to do like a couple English questions because I'm actually going to lose my mind if I keep doing math. I've done guys, you don't understand how many math questions I have to do every week, and it's the same ones over and over because the SAT is the same questions over and over. Like, really, think about it. There's only like 100 different question types that you'll ever see in the whole world. So like come on. All right. So here's what we're going to do when we want to logically complete the text. We're going to read the passage, right? So we'll read it. We have password strength meters, PSMs, provide real-time feedback to users during the password creation process about how secure a potential password is. PSMs include nudges, design elements meant to encourage the creation of robust passwords. Other PSMs provide direct guidance on how to create strong passwords resulted from a combination of these approaches, right? Or sorry, I skipped a line. So other PSMs provide direct guidance on how to create strong passwords. A research team found that the strongest password resulted from a combination of these approaches. So basically, if we have some PSMs that have nudges, as well as also providing direct guidance on how to create a strong password, are going to get the strongest result. They also found that the specific type of nudge doesn't really affect a user's behavior. It therefore follows that when creating passwords, user receiving blank. So I'm going to say users either receiving or several different PSMs are going to have the strongest passwords. I could also say users receiving like specific types of nudges won't affect how strong the password is. Or like users receiving PSMs without any nudges or without any types of, or without nudges or other types of PSMs are both going to have bad passwords, right? So with this question then, right? And by the way, shameless plug, like the stream, if you haven't already, like the stream and subscribe, and follow Tutor by Design on all platforms. Anyway, if they want me to answer it, let's see what I have. So the answer choice says that direct guidance, and I'm getting distracted, but okay, answer choice A says direct guidance would not be expected to create stronger passwords than users receiving compensation nudges. Okay, that's true. Although users receiving compensation nudges would be expected to create stronger passwords than users receiving reciprocity nudges. No, we literally said it, that receiving like the type of nudge that we receive is not going to affect anything. So it's not this, right? B, reciprocity nudges would not be expected to create stronger password than users receiving compensation nudges. So that's true. The type of nudge doesn't matter. Do not study vocab right now. Waste of time. Okay, the first part of that sentence is true. Although users receiving both direct guidance and reciprocity nudges would be expected to create stronger passwords than users receiving only reciprocity nudges. That's true. Okay, this is good because it's saying it doesn't matter what type of nudge we have, but if I receive direct guidance and nudges, I'm going to have a better password, right? C says both compensate. I mean, like at that point, I'm not even going to read the rest of the answer choices. It's a waste of time. If you guys want to, you can, but because obvious is B. SAT does a sneaky trick where they make a sentence sound completely right, but the next sentence is completely off. Correct. They do that all the time, right? If I just took a practice test and got a 1450 and a 670 reading, what can I do to get 50 more points on reading? Study grammar and study transitions. Explain why it's not D. Both direct guidance and reciprocity nudges would not be expected to create stronger passwords than users receiving reciprocity nudges only. We literally said that if they were getting reciprocity nudges and direct guidance, they would create a stronger password. They said that a research team found that the strongest password resulted from a combination of the approaches, as in direct guidance and types of nudges, right? Info and idea tips. So here's what you're going to do. If you don't understand what the passage is saying, you're going to go in and summarize it sentence by sentence. I feel like a broken clock when I say this, because I say this all the time. But you're just going to summarize the sentence and always answer the question before you look at the answer choices. Think through what the answer should probably be before the answer choices. Okay? Is 750 math easy to get? If you're very, very smart. But like, I don't know. Is it easy to get like a A+ in your class? It depends on you. It depends on the class. It depends on whatever, right? It depends on how much you study. Like, you know, Okay, what question should I do next? What question should I do next? Should I do vertex? I feel like I did a vertex form. Should I do unit conversion? Should I do unit conversion? How do you do that without running out of time? Well, a broken record. It's not a broken clock. You're right. Broken record. Listen, guys, the SAT is getting to me, guys. The SAT is getting to me, all right? I've been up till like 2 a.m. every day for the past week making videos on the SAT, all right? So that's my excuse. Now, what was I about to do? Oh, unit conversion. Yeah, let's do one of those. I'm just going to give you one. Hard regression math problems, other hard math problems. Yes. It's in my past SAT question topics and in the hard question directory. How many questions is on your math hard questions? I just looked at it. It's a lot. I have no clue exactly what it is. It's a good amount. If you study for 2 weeks and actually study and watch vids, $750 is free, $99. That's a little crazy to say. It depends. For reading, should you skip to question 16 or 17, or is the regular order fine? Just do anything that's question 10 to 15 last. So let's do a hard unit conversion question. Let's do, like, I'm just going to tell you one. So convert 20 meters per second cubed. Let's do a hard one. Square meters per second cubed to square feet per minute cubed. And we know that 1 meter equals 3.28 feet. Okay, what do we think here? Is the SAT at 12 year? I took the SAT at 12 year. Yeah, I gotta time. You gotta be timed out for that. That's a crazy comment. Ban him. All right. Anyway, what do you guys think? So what are we supposed to do? The first thing we should write out is our conversion factors, right? No, I am saying exactly not do that. Exactly do not do the easy questions last. Question 10 to 15 should go last. Questions 10 to 15. I mean, on the first module, it doesn't really matter. But I mean, honestly, still. So, 1 meter equals 3.28 feet. Okay, great. But I'm looking at square meters and square feet, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say that my 1 meter, I need to square both of these. So if 1 meter is 3.28 feet, and I'm talking about square meters and square feet, I need to square this, okay? So what's 3.28 squared? It's that. So 1 square meter equals 10.7584 feet squared. Now, I also know that 60 seconds equals a minute, but I'm talking about seconds cubed and minutes cubed, so I need to cube these both. 60 cubed is going to be a big number. I'm just going to leave it at 60 cubed. Seconds cubed equals 1 minute cubed. So these are my these are my 2 units. Now what I need to do is write out my unit. So meters per second cubed. So I have square meters, so meters squared. Per means divided by seconds cubed. Times, I need to multiply it by something that'll get rid of, let's get rid of the meter squared first. So to get rid of meter squared, should I multiply or divide by meter squared? I should divide, right? I should put it on the bottom. And then I'll match it up with the feet squared. And then I just put the numbers that go there. So it's 10.7584 and then 1, right? And then now we're going to multiply it by another fraction. And let's actually cross these out. That I now need to get rid of the seconds cubed. So should I multiply or divide by seconds cubed? It should go on the top and minutes cubed should go on the bottom. And that's where these numbers come in. So 60 cubed goes up here and then 1 goes down there. And you see that the seconds cubed cancel and you are left with feet squared per minute cubed, which is what you wanted. So whatever this is the answer. 20 times 3.28 squared times 60 squared, or 60 cubed gives you this. I need help whenever I do reading and grammar questions individually like this. I get the questions all correct, but during mock tests, I make a lot of mistakes. I'm not sure what the issue is. You're probably just like, what's the word? You're probably deserting your strategies. Utilize your strategies. Also, you're probably trying to go faster. Any tips for order to take the test section? I feel like I've said that like a million times, literally in the last like 10 minutes, guys. Someone in the chat, help him out. Someone in the hat, help him out. Wait, I just said someone in the hat, help him out. Guys, I'm actually losing my mind. All right, I really am losing my mind. The only real way to get a 1550 plus is to spam really hard questions. This guy knows ball. This guy knows ball. The only way to, I know this is going to sound crazy, guys, But the only way to get a good score is to practice the questions that are hard, right? Like, think about this, guys. How are you going to get a good score if you can't do the hard questions? Like, think about this. And the SAT only has so many questions that they're going to ask you. It's the same thing every time, just in a different way. So if you practice all the hard questions, which is literally why, like, that is why I started that hard question document, which I'm going to continue for the rest of time, okay? Because if you practice the questions that everyone struggles on the test, you practice those question types, then when it comes time for you to take the test, you're going to know the hard question types. Obviously, there's going to be new ones that no one's ever seen before that are going to be hard, right? But if you know all the ones from the past that were hard, then you have minimized the amount of questions you are going to get wrong. Because you are going to get all the ones that were hard in the past, which is like 85% of the test, correct. And now you only have to worry about getting the new 15% correct, right? I do not hate the SAT. I love the SAT, okay? Is it 3936? No, it is not. It is not. Any tips for fatigue? Because of the screen, I have no clue. Get blue light glasses. I didn't do anything on con. I've just been doing hard questions. Yes. Yet I'm still scoring bad. Well, I should say first you should get the basics down, right? First you should get the basics down. How similar is one prep? One prep is going to cover the easiest 80% of the test, I would say. So a very hefty portion of the test. And then those really, really hard questions are not on one prep, right? I want a proper guide on how and what to do with Desmos and which requires that. I literally posted a video today that said Desmos, regression versus graphing. Okay, what question are we doing next, guys? What question are we doing next, guys? What time is it? I'm losing track of time. It's 6:46. I'll probably stay on for another like 45 minutes. All right, you guys got to get to sleep soon. All right, you guys got to get to sleep soon. You have a test tomorrow. Let's see. Okay, I have a hard question for you guys. It's actually not hard. What are we doing here? I'm actually going to get questions out on deck. I low-key want to do like... I want to do a percent question. Okay, we're going to do this one next. By the way, guys, I'm helping you guys out here, right? So the best you can, by the way, we're doing the left side first. The most you can do for me is tomorrow after you take the test, tell me what topics were the hardest. Like, what did you struggle on, okay? DM me, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want, all right? Email me, for God's sake, if that's something you want to do, okay? But, yeah. Which one of the hard questions, Doc? Which one? If I did halfway of studying on con and do some tonight, which does it help? Con helps for basics. Okay, we're going to do the left side first. How would you do this? Guys, this is just differences. Or sorry, I mean, you could just do this in Desmos. Like, if you have a question like this and your answers are just all in like terms of the constants, you could literally just go in here, make random values for constants. It says KNPR constants, so let's just make them random numbers. Let's make it 5 and 3. It doesn't matter what number I put, right? And it's saying x equals plus and minus k, blah, blah, blah. So literally, I'm just going to put in an answer choice. So like x is k over 4. The plus or the minus, it doesn't make a difference which one you do. K squared plus 2p divided by 4. And we see, does this give me the same line? If it does, it's my answer. It doesn't, see? It doesn't touch either of these lines. So that's wrong. If I try the next one, that one also will not give me the same line. This is what B is. If I try the answer choice C, that also does not work, right? And if I try, let's see, if I try answer choice, what is that? Answer choice D, they all don't work, so it means I put something in wrong. Oh my goodness, guys. Let's see. Okay, so this one's not it. Then it's got input at X, right? See? So then we have, let's retry all of these. So, okay, this is what D was, right? So it's not D, right? Let's try A. So 4 and 4. It's not that, right? Let's try this one. It's B, right? It's beautiful. It is beautiful. See how this touches the same exact line? It's the same exact line. And so the answer there is B. Right? It's simple. I go straight in Desmos and I'm wasting time. So really look and think, can regression solve this? It is B. Yeah, it is B. I had a misfire there. It was a misinput. It was a misinput. It was a misinput, guys. I'm sorry. All right. Yo, guys, are you guys getting college apps back soon? Don't they start soon? Don't they start soon? I'm low-key a screenager, guys. I'm low-key a screenager. Is that bad? Yo, do you guys participate in DECA? Nah, you shouldn't do that for x1. You shouldn't make x1 a number in regression because x actually is like a specific number. Like you can't just make random numbers for x, right? Okay, what do we do for this question, guys? So a racetrack is tracking two cars whose acceleration decreases exponentially with distance. Car A begins with an acceleration of 40 meters per square second and decreases at a rate of 7% every 100 meters traveled. And then car B begins at an acceleration of 35 meters per square second and decreases at a rate of 5% every 100 meters traveled. After 300 meters, what is the approximate positive difference between acceleration of car A and car B? So here's what I would do. So the first equation for A is going to be 40, because that's what I start at, times, if I decrease by 7%, then I'm going to be at 93%. This is not physics. So times 0.93 to the power of, you do x divided by however long it takes your x to like increase by for you to decrease by this rate. So like every 100 meters, it decreases, so it's going to be x over 100. Then B is going to start at 35, decrease by 5%, so it'll be 95% or 0.95 to the x over 100. And I just want to find the difference at 300 meters. So I could just do 40 times 0.93 to the power of 3. And then I could do 35 times 0.95 to the power of 3. I just have to find the difference between the two. So it's 2.16, right? 2.2. Right. Took the October SAT and got a 1270, 650 writing 620 math, and taking the December SAT. How much can I improve my math score? Bro, it is 7 o'clock the night before the SAT. I have no clue. Guys, I'm sorry to break it to you, but if you don't study for the SAT, you're not it depends. So it really just depends. Is what I'm trying to get at. If you studied a lot, you could increase your score by so much. If you studied at all, if you studied nothing, then you're cooked. All right. What do I want to major? Doesn't matter. It does matter. But it depends. It depends on like what guys. Here's something. I'm gonna give you guys a word of advice. All right. I'm going to give you guys a word of advice. And yeah, I didn't need to put x over 100. I could have just put x, and as long as I knew that x was 3. Let's say I do bad and I am a senior. Can I still take it in March? No. Am I taking the SAT? No. I'm going to take the SAT in March, I think, guys. Once college apps are over, I'm going to start taking the SAT every month, actually. Do not... Oh, my God. Guys, don't cheat on the SAT, please. Please. So good, you redacted it. So I'm gonna give you guys a piece of advice. When you're applying to a college, especially if you don't think you know exactly what you want to major in, and if the college is easy to change your major if you change your mind, look into like what are they good at, because like I know a lot of people, like there's so many different things you want to do, and the job market's cooked anyway, so you may as well study something you want to. At one school, I want to study this major. At one school, I want to study that major, right? It really just depends on what they can offer you. So do some good research, guys. Lock in. Why would you want to take it after college apps? So that I can get like an actual feel of the test. Because like I only know the questions that are like released, like that I can see, right? But like I want to really feel what it's like to be a student taking the test, because nothing beats that. Like that's the best thing a tutor could do, is like see for themselves, like what is the test really like, right? It's not cheating if you don't get caught. That is true, but if you're using meta glasses, you're going to get caught. What should I focus on to get a decent score? You should study the cheat sheet. If you think that schools prefer ACT scores, you are absolutely mistaken. I can't think of a single school or a reason why a school would prefer an ACT. They didn't let me use my TI-84. That is not allowed. They can't just not let you use it. Did I take one as digital? Yeah, I did one a while back, just cause. But like that's not like my SAT. Like the SAT score I have is from paper. I did it just for fun, from a while back. Yo, I should low-key do another question. What was my SAT score? I got a 1570, guys. That was back in the day. I don't know what type of question I want to do, guys. Next topic that someone types in the chat, I'm doing it. The next topic that someone, math or English, the next topic someone types in the chat, I'm doing a question. Some schools do make the SAT optional, but most are making them go back. Have I gotten in anywhere? Yeah, to like state school. Math, triangle congruence, yeah. Let's do triangle congruence. That's a good one. Okay, let's talk about how to prove a triangle congruence. Screw doing one question. Let's just tell you the whole thing. All right. Okay. Let's say I have this triangle here, and I have another triangle here, right? After this, I'll do a couple of the ones that have been emailed to me. I low-key haven't checked the email in a minute. Okay, so I have a triangle here, and I have a triangle here. Okay, and I'm trying to prove them. Let's do congruent first. Okay, let's do congruent first. So yeah, if you guys want me to do your questions, email them to me. I have a couple left. Anyone that was sent after, I look, haven't done them in like a half hour. Anyone that was sent after 6:14, I'm gonna do, or I'm gonna like start to do. Actually, there was one that was sent at 6:07 that I like. Okay, so let's just say we want to prove these triangles congruent, and no, this is not drawn to scale. So the ways to prove these are congruent. Where can I find the cheat sheet? tutorbydesign.com/resources. /resources. Yo, do you guys like the Tutor by Design, the design of the site? Screw the resources. What do we think about my website designing skills? Is it tough or not? And then you just click SAT cheat sheets. Am I going to do English later? I'm trying to do either. I feel like I keep getting stuck in a rabbit hole of math. But like, if you guys send English to me, I'll do it. Okay, we're going to do this. One way to prove them congruent is by finding that one angle and then a side, and then we're going to do congruent first. So for congruent, and let me actually draw this first. So for congruent, the first way I can do these is angle, side, and then angle. So this is called ASA. Another way I can do this is if I do a side and then an angle and then a side. So I have side, angle, side, angle, side, angle. I can also do side, side, side. So 1, 2, and 3, right? Then I can do side, 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 right? I can do side, side, side. Then I can do angle, angle, side. So 1 angle, 1 angle, 1 side, right? And then I also technically have hypotenuse leg theorem, but that's not really necessary. The hypotenuse leg theorem basically says if I have that the triangle is a right triangle, and then I have the leg and a hypotenuse, I can find the third side then, and then like I can use SSS, but it's just like if I already know it's a right triangle and two of the sides are the same, then it's gonna be fine. The website design is not tough, but it's chill. Dang, I look, you need to lock in. I need to revamp it. It's because of the font. I love that font. Guys, the Quicksand font is the best font ever, but a lot of people don't like it. It gets too much hate. Anyway. Okay, then we have the hypotenuse leg. Now, anyway, so the way to prove them similar is it's the same thing, except you don't need, first of all, when you're talking about like side, side, side or whatever, it means that the ratio of the sides are the same. So like the ratio of side 1 to side, so like, let's say this is like 2, 4, 6. Then this is like, and this is like, let's say like 4, 8, and let's say 4, 8, 12. You see how like this side doubles to become this side, and then like this side doubles to become that side, and then like this side doubles to become that side, like that, right? And so for similar, right, for congruent it means like the sides are actually just the same, but for similar what it is I can either have SAS and SSS, and then the ASA and AAS are not needed because I only need 2 angles. So like I just take the S out of both of those. Now what does not work is ASS, and I'm going to tell you guys that it's pretty easy to remember that doesn't work, right? ASS and SSA, you know, think of an easy way to remember why this would not be able to be your congruence, right? And so let's take a look then. Let's do a hard one. Let's do, I'll pull up the triangle congruence. Yeah, how about this? All right, right here. This is way too small. Let's make this bigger. Guys, I am am so excited for the SAT in 2025 to be done. Oh my God, I forgot to ask this earlier. I was going to ask it. Guys, what do you think about after the SAT is done? I low-key might start posting some calc videos because like you guys probably have midterms coming up for calc, right? Oh my God, guys, yo, I'm actually about to time out anyone that talks about leak spare. You guys are actually, like, I know how, like half of you are joking, but the problem is like some people don't realize they're joking. Oh God. Guys, if you buy leaks, you're a turd. That's the only way to say it, guys. Because they're not real. All right, they're not real. Most of the time. All right? Like 99% of the time, they're not real. It's very bad to be absolute, guys. It's one thing that I've learned in life. Okay. Good luck to everyone. Good luck, bro. Let me know how it goes. All right. Let's look. By the way, guys, I have a unit review for every single calc unit on this YouTube channel if you ever need. Anyway, so here we have triangles ABC and DEF side AB and DEF side length 10. So let's say we have ABC and then DEF, and it says that side A, B, and DE are each 10, and it says that what the heck? It says that A and D are both 40, so these are both 40, and then we want to find which could prove that these are congruent. So, okay, the measure of B and C are equal. So if B and C were equal, this gives me no information on this other triangle. So that is not correct. Okay, that's not going to help me. All right. This is not going to be right. Okay. Now, if I have that the length of AC and DF are equal, so that would mean this and this are equal, that would work because then I'm going to have side angle side. So this is good. So answer choice 2 is correct. And then BC and EF being equal, let's see. So that's this and this. This gives me ASS. And remember, you cannot have ASS. It doesn't work. ASS is no good. And so it's 2 only, right? So it's B. 2 is sufficient, but 1 and 2 are not, right? I'm going to bed at 8:30. Very, very good idea. Very good. This guy knows ball. This guy knows ball. This guy knows ball. By the way, guys. Actually, never mind. It's a W stream. You guys are locked in right now. We're actually locked in. Usually on these streams, like, I just get lazy and I just start like trying to like talk to chat. I mean, obviously I'm doing that now, but we're like actually getting through questions, which is good. Eventually, like I always say I'm gonna do it the next month, but I always say that I'm gonna like one day, instead of doing one of these live streams on YouTube where like I just talk to chat, like I'll actually make a presentation, but like it's boring. That's what you get in the mastery course. You get an actual presentation. All right, actual structured presentation. Okay, percentages. Let's see. Oh, first we have to do this. Let's see. Okay, let's look at all the questions that were just emailed to me. Let's see here. Okay, this is the first one. Email me a percentages question and I'll do it. Right now we're doing email questions. Send the email. I'll answer the question. Unless it's not good. Is it easy to get a high math score with just Desmos? No. No, it is not. Okay, so I'm looking at that question. That's a fun question. Someone sent me that earlier. So we have this quadratic function, has these factors, and we want the smallest possible value of AB. So first, I'm going to try to factor this, factor something out of this, right? Right? So I have... Our practice test easier than the actual test, yes. So I'm gonna do, email that to me. Email that question to me to the email, and I'll answer it. Someone sent that to me earlier. So I'm gonna find the GCD of 54, 219, and 105. This will give me the biggest number I can factor out. So it's a 3. So I'll have 3 times ax squared plus b times cx squared plus d, and that's gonna equal this. By the way, why am I factoring that out? That's because I'm gonna want to, what's the word here? Minimize the amount that would be left for the a times c, right? Like I'm trying to get as much out of here as I can. That way, like this will be like 3 times 18x to the 4 and whatever. That way a times c is just gonna multiply to 18. Anyway, now, yeah, GCD. There's also LCM. Yeah, this tells me the number that I would have to, like if I do like LCM of like 6 and 8, this tells me 24 is the first number that I could get by multiplying these both by a number. and it be the same, right? This is elite ball knowledge, yeah? So anyway, I'm going to put in 3 times, what the heck? Okay, 3 times, this is Azerbaijan technology, low-key. Yo, why is this coming up? This is, oh my God, why is this Logitech coming up? Delete this, bro. That just ruined my day. All right, 3 times, I hate Logitech. All right, 3 times ax1 squared plus b times cx1 plus cx1 squared plus d. And it's going to be equivalent, right, to 54x1 to the 4 plus 219 x1 squared plus 105. And now I need to make a list for x1, right? Let's just leave it like this. And we get a problem that, like, this is not looking good, right? But we want the smallest possible value of a and c. So, or a times b. What I'm going to do is I know a is an integer. So let's just make it start at 1. And let's let it go all the way to, like, 30 or like, whatever. Okay, let's move it around and see what the smallest value of a, b is. Now, if a is 1, this doesn't work because they're not all integers. If a is 2, it doesn't work because they're not all integers. If a is 3, it doesn't work. And let's keep going until they're all integers. So we keep going. Okay, here we get 45, right? But now I'm about to explain something that I guarantee you is going to confuse you. I guarantee you this is going to confuse you. I guarantee it. Which is that, and also let me back up. So couldn't I just put x? No, I have to put x1 so that it has like a list of values to check with. Basically, guys, I'm gonna explain what this does. What this does is it tells Desmos, it plugs in the value of 1 for x and says, tell me what a, b, c, and d are so that the left side equals the right side. Then it plugs in 2 for x, then 3 for x, then 4 for x. That way, you make sure that you get it like to be true for all values, right? I put in usually like 6 points. Technically, you need however many constants you have. So we had, 4 here. So I needed 4 points at least. I usually just put 5 or 6. Now, what is going to confuse you is a times b is 45. But a times b actually could be 14 is what this is telling me. And that's because what's the difference between ab and cd? They're both just a number in front of x squared and a number that's solo, right? And so c and d can technically represent a and b. It's like, okay, if I have that like, ax squared equals 10x squared, it's the same exact thing as if I said bx squared equals 10x squared. Like there's no difference, right? And so c times d was 14 here. So that technically counts as a value of ab. Okay, so this is so far the smallest amount, right? If I keep going, it looks like I don't think there's another point where they're both integers or where they're all integers. But yeah. I feel like you can probably do this without so let's try. No, it's gonna ruin it. It's gonna destroy it. If I don't factor out the GCD, it's gonna get messed up. I would have to define 2 functions at once, I think. Let's write like C. Like I could try A is, it's gonna be very complicated. But something like this actually show up? Yes, it could. It could. It's shown up before several times. I wouldn't do a question that has like no chance of showing up because it's a waste of all of our time. Okay, I just did that exact question that someone else had sent me. So scale factors. When do you know that to do GCD? When you're trying to factor something like, okay, if I'm trying to factor like 40, those questions that's like, which of the following is not a factor of 4400 x to the 4 minus like 8100? What I can do there is say GCD times 4400, comma 8100, and I see I can factor out in 100. So this is actually 100 times 44x to the 4 minus 81. And then it becomes easier, right? Much easier. Can you give me leaks, bro? Come on. No one is giving you leaks. If that was on the test, can you go back and show your equation in Desmos? Let's look. This is what I had done, but this was a 3. And then I did like a equals, let's say this is step of 1. And when it was, what was it? It was 9. So let's go to 30. Like that, right? Now, okay. Anyway, how do I do this question? Scale factors is going to show up. Guys, pop quiz. If I triple the side lengths of a square, what will the area multiply by? I'll ask that again. If I triple the side lengths of a square, what will the area multiply by? If I triple the side lengths of a square, what will the area multiply by? What do you guys think? Someone says 9, 9. Good. If you multiply the side length of a shape by a scale factor b, okay, let's just say b. Scale factor, okay, so you guys are locked. Okay, scale factor equals b. I knew you guys were going to get it. So the perimeter or circumference or length or distance, those will all just multiply by b to the power of 1. The area or surface area will all multiply, or lateral area for that matter, will multiply by b squared. And the volume will just multiply by b cubed, okay? Anyway, so that's what we're going to apply in this question. So we have circle x is the circumference of a pi. I feel like you're going to see a question extremely similar to this. If you don't come for me. But I feel like you are. Because, like, dude, they keep asking it in the same way. They ask this question the same way, and they never give it with constants. I don't know why. Right? Guys, when I'm older, if I become well off enough that I don't really have to work a job, what I'm going to do is become a contract worker for the SAT and write the most wild questions ever and get paid to do it. Because I swear I would make the SAT absolute chaos. The question would become so much harder. Anyway, all right. Lateral area is just the area of is the surface area without the base. So without the base, or if there's two bases and without the two bases. Anyway, so here, I'm going to make a little like chart. So I have the circumference and area of x and y. For x, the circumference is a pi and the area is b pi. And for y, the circumference is c pi and the area is 256 b pi. And so what I see here is the area multiplied by 256. The area multiplies by b squared, right? So b squared equals 256. And so b is going to equal the square root of this, right? So the square root of 256 is going to give me 16. So b is 16. And so what I know then is the circumference will just multiply by 16, right? It'll just multiply by 16 because the circumference just multiplies by b to the 1, right? And so this is not going to be c pi. Let's call it 16 times a pi because it'll just be multiplied by 16. So a over c is just a over 16, a. And so you just get 1 over 16. When should I wake up tomorrow? Is there like a good time? Wake up as late as you possibly can in order to get to your test center at 7:30. By the way, guys, something I learned is that if you're an international student, sometimes you have to bring your passport or like some proof of like residence to where you're going. I mean, no matter what, you should bring like your driver's license or something like that, like some proof, even if you're in the US. But that was something weird. Like someone literally got denied the test. I don't know what country they were in. I wish I could remember for not having like their passport. It was crazy. It was crazy. I'm not even taking the December SAT. I don't know what I'm doing. I just stopped studying for the SAT math because it's so repetitive and I got bored. I just need to study English. I'm taking it in March. Yeah, bro. I'm gonna start posting videos. Bro, I gotta start posting YouTube videos. I like stopped because I was being lazy. Not even lazy. Like I've been super busy, guys. Like really busy with like the group sessions I've been doing and like one-on-one tutoring. But I'm gonna try to lock in second semester and try to get out a ton of good videos for you guys on YouTube. Like the longer videos that are more drawn out instead of like a TikTok video, you know? Okay, let's see what else I got emails from you guys. Let's see here. Skipping this. Okay, I actually love this question, so I'm not skipping this. This, by the way, is an SAT style question that showed up on the August or September. Yo, I've seen that question before. Guys, email them to me, guys. Please email them. It's right there. It's right there. The email's right there. Email them and then like the stream. Email them the questions that you have and then like the stream. So, okay. If we look here, and yes, again, this question is not hard, which is the crazy part. This question is not hard. So in quadrilateral KLMN, KL equals 3. KL is 3 and LM is 3. KN equals 27 and MN equals 27. Diagonals KM and LN, so KM and LN, which are not shown, intersect at point G where GK equals 1. Okay, intersect at point G where GK equals 1 and GM equals 1. And the length of the diagonal is Or just what is the length of the diagonal? Okay, this is going to create a right triangle. Do you see that? That creates a right triangle, those diagonals, right? They create a right triangle. Okay? I should move this down. Sorry, I didn't realize. So it creates a right triangle, right? What I can realize then is it's asking me, okay, the length of diagonal LN is root P plus root W. Let's call this root P. Let's call this root W. This is going to be quadratic form or Pythagorean theorem. Like I could say for this that like 1 squared. Okay, let's look at this triangle here. This is a right triangle, right? Because the diagonals, where the diagonals intersect will create a right triangle. Okay, this is a kite. But anyway, I could say that 1 squared plus 3 plus like b squared equals 3 squared. And so I'll get that b squared plus 1 equals 9. And so b squared is 8. And so I should really have said p, right? I should say plus p squared equals... Actually, let's just say this. Let's call this root p. And I'm just going to put this in Desmos, honestly. 1 squared plus, that way you guys don't get confused, plus square root p squared is equivalent to 3 squared. Okay, and it tells me p is 8. And then I'm going to do the same thing here where this is root w, right? So 1 squared, I'm just going to copy paste this. I'm lazy. So plus root w squared is 27 squared. I get w 728. So what's w plus p? W plus p, 736. Bang. Is that tough? Is that tough? What do we think here? What do we think? Okay, hold on. I'm about to pull up a hard question. Do you think this will even be a question? November International one, October International one. This was a question that was on. One of the recent international SATs. Now, all right, let's pull up a crazy question here. If I can find it. Let's see. But like the problem is you guys are going to see the answer if I do it. I'm not going to do it. Thanks. It's going to waste time. All right, let's see what other questions you guys emailed me. All right, do you guys know how to do this by now? I feel like everyone, I feel like this question's become oversaturated. By the way, guys, international and national SATs pull from the same bank. Like, how long have I been live? A long time. Oh, live. Yo, why did I think that was like the dumbest question ever? Oh my God, I'm such an idiot. Guys, I really am losing my mind. Like, I'm sorry. I really am losing my mind. All right. That's why I keep saying 6, 7. All right. Like, I actually just have lost my mind. All right. The SAT has literally driven me crazy. But I've been live since 5. Your advice for someone who can't use Desmos. I think that you could guess what my advice is going to be. My advice is going to be learn how to use Desmos. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so this question actually can just be solved extremely easy when they give you. So when they give you questions, like we did one earlier where it was like ax squared plus plus 9x plus c, and they wanted like some value. This is a discriminant question. Discriminant formula, whatever. Okay, the discriminant. But when you have this, there's an equation for the maximum value of b, and it's literally just the a times the c plus 1. The maximum value of b here is ac plus 1, so it's 38 times 70 plus 1. Doing this in Desmos is like not reliable. Like what you could do is write 38z1 to the 18 plus bz1 to the 9 plus 70 is equivalent to, you would have qz1 to the 9 plus r, and the other factor is going to be like, let's say like we have like let's say qr, we have like sz to the 9 plus t, right? Because the z to the 9 and the z to the 9 multiply to the c to the 18, and the r and the t just multiply out to 70, right? So we have sz1, and I don't have to write a z1, sz to the 9. I don't know why I'm doing that. It's because it's replacing my x, but you don't have to do that. Let's actually delete it because I don't want to confuse you guys, because I always say you don't have to, because you don't. So let's do this. Now what we do need to do is create a list for z, because z becomes my like x basically. Now it wants the maximum value for B. What I'm going to do is say that, like, I'm going to just move Q around. Q and R are integers. So I'm going to just say Q can go from like 0 to 100 or 0 to 50 with a step of 1. Max B is always AC plus 1, yes. And move this around until I see the max B. But I feel like I'm not even going to get that as an answer. So will I ever even get 2661? Let's find out. Let's see. I feel like I won't. Yeah, it doesn't work, right? Now, let's see. I could technically go to negative, right? I could technically go down to the negative. So let's do negative 36. So if I go minus, let's see, do I ever get this as an answer choice? Looks like I don't, right? Because it's all messed up. Now, what you could do is put in the possible values for Q and R. What I could do, like, that will work, I'm pretty sure. So, like, for example, like Q and R, let's make a list of what they could be. I could have 1 and 38. I could have, I'm trying to find the maximum, so it's not going to be negatives. I could have 2 and 19. I could have, what is it? What else? I have, I don't even know what else. Could I have 4? No. Could I have 6? No. I think that's it, right? So I could take Q equals 1 and R equals 38 and see what B is. Looks like B is not even an integer, right? So I don't think that's my answer, right? Then I can do, let's make sure this is all good. Okay, then I could do Q is 2 and R is 19. And that also doesn't work. Then I could try it the opposite way around, 19 and 2. That still doesn't work. And then I can try, well, like, that's all I can do, actually. So, like, it literally doesn't give me a reliable answer. I guess if I do this, it gives me 2661. But it gives me a really weird of these, and it gives me an RMSE. So it's, like, all messed up, right? Literally, you guys, just remember, in this question, it asks you the max B. You literally just do AC plus 1, guys. Yeah, for the quadrilateral one, like, Desmos is pointless. You can just use Pythagorean theorem. But I wanted to just keep in the theme of just, like, using Desmos. How did I guess 1 and 38? Because what are the possible values that can multiply to 38? It's 1 and 38 and it's 2 and 19. Like, what are the other factors of 38? Let's ask. Maybe there's other ones. I don't think there are there. Yeah, it's just 1, 2, 19, and 38. I'm never getting 2661 because Desmos drops the ball on these questions. I technically get 2661 here, but, like, if it's a minimum, guys, you're cooked. If it's a minimum, I mean, you're going to have to put in your values. Like, you would have to try 2 and 19. Okay, that's not, so technically, like, this is not an integer. Then you could try 1 and 38. That's not an integer, right? And also, we're getting an RMSE. Like, that's another problem, right? Like, we don't want an RMSE. So it's all going, you know, terribly right now, right? This is no good, right? Should we just keep adding points until we get an RMSE of 0? Now our RMSE is gigantic. Right now, it's even worse. So, like, this is bad. This is very bad. Okay, very bad. AC plus 1 is an equation. A, C, plus 1. If you want me to do a hard English question, email me a hard English question. Okay, this question is extremely simple. If you know how to do it, it's very easy. So basically, I'm given this information. I'm told for the function f of cx is x minus 8. And it wants f of 2 is 35, and then it gives this, what is c, right? The minimum is, okay, so I could do, for the other one. Here, let me do this question first, and then I'll pull it back up. When do I use AC plus 1? When they're asking for the max value of b there. So, anyway, here I know that if f of 2 is 35, then that means that x is 43. Because 43 minus 8 will be, 35, right? Like, x minus 8 equals 35, right? Then I have that x equals 43, right? And so if I have f of cx, right? Basically, it's replacing cx with x, right? So what I can do is, like, if x is 2, right? Or, sorry, if cx equals 2, that's what this is, right? Cx is 2. Because see how, like, I replace this? But my x is just 43, because 43 minus 8 is 35, right? So x is 43, cx is 2, so c times 43 equals 2. So c equals 2 over 43. For the minimum value, yeah, the answer is 2661. For the minimum value, let's look. I would have to do, okay, like there's, oh my God, like this is a lot. So what I would have to try is like, so what I could try is, I could have, there's so many different combinations. Honestly, like I would do this in Desmos, but I would still use some algebra. What I would do is, so I'm still going to write this out and then I'll show you what I would do. Then, yeah, and you could also do that. It was 2661 for the other question. This one's 2 over 43 plus bz to the 9 plus 70 is equivalent. So, okay, I'm going to make like a matrix. Like this is it's like, I don't know, I hate this question, but QZ9 times QZ9 plus R times SZ9 plus T. Okay, so look, let's talk about Z equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's talk about the possible values for, let's do the possible values for this. So, okay, Q times R has to equal, so, okay, if I have QZ to the 9 plus R times, and actually, do I really want to talk about scaling right now? I'll talk about it after. So QZ to the 9 and then SZ to the 9 plus T. So, okay, Q and S can either equal 1 and 38, 2 and 19, or the opposite way around. So 38 and 9, or 38 and 1, and then 19 and 2. And then R times T has to equal 70. So it can be 1 and 70, or it can be 2 and 35, or it can be 10 and 7, or it can be 14 and 5, right? Or the opposite way around. I would have to literally try all of these. I mean, honestly, I could just define two things probably. I could say Q is 1 and R is 1. And then what would I get for B? I'd get that it's 108. So far 108 is my lowest, right? I literally have to go through all of these. Then I have to try Q is 1 and R is 2. This gives me 111. So far 108 is still the smallest. Then I would have to try R is 10. Okay, that's not bigger. Like, I'm still have that 108 is the smallest. And I try 14, still 108 is the smallest, right? Then I'll have to try it with Q is 2, right? And then I have to go, I have to try R is 1, and I get 159. Still, it doesn't work. R is 2, I get 108 again, right? Then I try R is 10, and so on. Like, I literally just have to do this for every single opportunity, right? And it's a whole, like, freaking disaster. So then I try 38, and I try 10. Or I try 1, 2, 10. Right? Like, this is giving me a freaking headache. You got one. I mean, it would be 108. I wonder, is that anything interesting? That's interesting that's A plus C. Is that on purpose? Is that on purpose? Chat. Let's see. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. Given ax squared plus bx plus c, and I have factors. Let's say qx plus r times sx plus t. Is there an equation to find the minimum value of b? Okay, let's see. I'm about to see if there's an equation. So the lowest thing that b could be, I'm literally just asking ChatGPT. This is crazy. ChatGPT tells you a lot of things. It tells me b is 2 root ac. So this isn't going to be correct. ChatGPT is hallucinating now, guys. So I guess there's no good solution there. Yeah. Terrible work. Terrible work, chat. Let's see if I ask it, isn't it a plus c? No, it's not. All right. Oh my goodness. Let's do a little more. I'm sick of that question. Yeah, like this question is like way, a lot of these are way faster without Desmos. And that's the thing also, like, bro, Desmos is a big time waste. Big time waste. But that's the world we live in, guys. That's the world we live in. Let's see this. But there's a lot of questions where, like, if you don't know how to use Desmos, you're like low-key cooked. But AC plus 1 is the max value of B. The min value of B is like cooked. The min value of B you give up. Right? I mean, you could solve it out. Okay. This one, Desmos is not saving you. Okay. Number 1 on your first resource link. Number 1 on first resource link. Literally number 1. There's a lot of number 1s. What is, like, tell me what, like, I can control F search. Okay, look. Two lines intersect, and one of the angles is 2x plus 20. Okay, so let's just say it's this angle is 2x plus 20. And we want to find which could not be the sum of any of the other two angles. Okay, so do they ask a lot for max b? No, it's just like an equation. So let's say this is 2x plus 20. I know that these two angles will add up to 180, so that's not the answer because it's asking which could not be the sum. So it's not 180. Now I also know, let's just call this angle O. 2x plus 20 plus angle O is equal to 180, right? So angle O is going to equal 160 minus 2x, right? It's going to equal 160 minus 2x. And so let's see. So then this angle is going to be 160 minus 2x, and this angle is going to be 2x plus 20, right? This vertical angles, right? These two are vertical angles, and then these top and bottom, right, are vertical angles. So two angles added up. All right, let's see what happens if I add these two. I'll get 320 minus 4x. So this is not it, because that's what I got. Now, what about if I add these two? I'll get 4x plus 40, right? So this is not it either. And so the only one that I didn't get was this one. So that's my answer. Complementary angles with sine and cosine, yes. If you take two angles that add up to 90, cosine of one equals sine of the other. Number 17, my bad, it's angles. Let's look. Can you copy and paste something that it says? Oh, all right. I see. What do we think, guys? Yo, the latest I can take this live is 8 o'clock because y'all really need to get to sleep. Okay, after this question, I'm doing all the questions that are good that are in my email. And then that's it. So if you want me to do a specific question, email it. Email it right there. Are there any that, like, definitely, but I just can't think of them. Well, there definitely are. Like, I can't think of any useful ones when we're talking about quadratics specifically. How many do you have to go through? Not a lot. Like, let's see. Like 10 right now in my inbox. And it can be English too. Like, low-key, send me some English. We didn't talk about a lot of English. Okay, so let's do this. In these angle questions, like, just literally start like plugging and chugging. Actually, also, by the way, I'm gonna get a diagram that's bigger. That way I can like write on it. Let's look. Parallel lines A, B. Okay, look. Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do in this question. We're going to literally just start plugging and chugging things. All right. So I have that lines, it says line A and B are parallel. If they don't tell you lines are parallel, you cannot assume they are. Okay. Z is 49. Y is 136. V is less than Z. Okay, if V is less than Z, then let's say like V is 45 because that's less than 49, and we want to find what must be true. Okay, let's literally just start checking things. Okay. I can say that this is 45 because of the complementary, or not complementary, corresponding angles. This angle here is going to make 180 with this one, right? Because it's a line. So this angle here is going to be 44. And so this angle here, if this makes a triangle, is just 180 minus 45 minus 44. 180 minus 45 minus 44. So it's 91, which then tells me that this is 91 because of vertical angles, right? Okay, great. So x is 91. Now let's do the same thing with the other one. This is 49, so this is 49. So this is 49 because of vertical angles, right? Vertical angles. Okay. I'm going to play Valorant. Good luck, bro. Lock in for tomorrow. Study your cheat sheet in between rounds. Then, okay, so this is 45. Then I can say that if this is 136, this is 136 because of corresponding angles. So this then is 44, right? And so this angle here then is going to be 180 minus 49 minus 44, right? So this is 87. And so this angle is 87 because of vertical angles. And so we get that x is greater than w, which gives me b. Gives me b. Yeah. Do you have a cheat sheet? Yo, am I getting rage baited? I'll pull it down so you guys can see. Chat said D, chat's wrong. Simple and plain. Guys, you know ChatGPT is wrong on like a lot of questions. like a lot. No. Guys, whatever you do tomorrow, you don't have to tell me exact questions. I mean, if you want to, fine. But, I mean, I'd love that. But literally, all you got to do, DM me. What did you struggle on? You know, I'd love to chat about the test, right? And you know, I'd love to know what's challenging, right? So after the test, let me know how it goes, right? Anyway, okay, the next one we're doing is mean, median, mode type question. So let's see. Let's make this bigger. Okay. Each of the dot plots shown represents the number of glue sticks brought in by... Oh, I forgot to do the question with the D, whatever. Can you get your score invalidated if you post official questions or not? You can. So I guess if you're worried that I'm going to report you, don't send that. But you can send me questions that are like, just tell me like what the question topic was. Don't tell me the exact question. Like tell me like, you know, I had a question like whatever. Like literally you just change the like if you post it, I mean, bro, I don't want to give advice on what you can and can't post, bro. I'm not College Board. I'm not trying to give you good or bad advice. Do what you please. But I'm pretty sure if you like if you were to post a question that was like the same wording, it would be fine. Mine, I've never posted an SAT question that showed up on the test, or like I've never knowingly like taken a question from the SAT and posted it. I like post like question types. Like I post a ton of question types that were on the test, but I've never knowingly, I'm trying to think if I have. I mean, I guess I wouldn't tell you guys if I have, but I've never knowingly like posted an SAT question type or an SAT, like an actual SAT question. Definitely, I do like the SAT question types. The last question is wrong. It is not wrong. Like I said, like if you ask ChatGPT, whatever. And by the way, I know that's not wrong because that's a past SAT question type where the correct answer is like proven. And it works like that. It's not X plus W equals 90. Yeah. You know, recently, actually, no need to talk about that. I was going to say recently that I posted, like, when I posted the mean and standard deviation one the other day, like, people are telling me, like, oh, you're definitely wrong, you're definitely wrong. And it annoys me when people say that. Because I'm not. But I guess sometimes I'm wrong. How do people know stuff that shows up on the test? Okay, so not me, but others decide to leak the test. Because they have nothing better to do. In fact, people make businesses off leaking the test after it shows up. Like there's definitely leaks after the test, which is unfortunate. And so then it just like comes around and you know, I see a question and people are telling me a question similar to this one showed up on the test. I ask people, did a question similar to this one showed up on the test? They're like, yes, right? What should be done after the live stream? Go to sleep. I mean, it's already 8 o'clock. Like, I mean, bro, it's not going to be easy to go to sleep. Like, eat some food tonight so you're not that hungry tomorrow. Go to the last question and explain why it's not A. Okay, let's put this up on the screen and then I'll explain. Let's do this one and then I'll explain why it's not A. Each of the dot plots shown represents the number of glue sticks brought in by each student. For class A and B, which statement best compares the standard deviations? Okay, this is the same exact graph. The range is the same, it's 6. The range is the same, it's 6. And the amount of points is the same, exact amount. Okay? So the standard deviation is the same because the standard deviation doesn't care what the mean or the median is, it just cares how far apart they are. Okay, and they're all the same distance apart, and there's all the same amount for each like thing. Like the 2 and the 15 are matching up, right? Like the 4 and the 16 the 4 and the 16 match up, or the 4 and 17, sorry, and so on, right? You know what's unfortunate is that before the digital SAT, leaks weren't real. I mean, I guess they were like, but it's the digital. Like I don't know what it is. The safety is not good. And I was thinking recently, like, bro, I guess I'm just like a nerd because I think like this, but, bro, like we should literally start like a petition because, bro, it'd be so easy to fix this. Like it's an unfair situation where like, bro, there's no way College Board doesn't know that happens. Right. And so why can't they just release questions? Like, why can't they just release, like their excuse is like, everyone gets different tests with different questions. And so we can't release your test back to you. Like when I took the test, I got released. I paid an extra $10 and I got to see what my test had, all the questions and what I got right and wrong and what I put. But they don't do that anymore. And it's not because, they're not idiots. I think it's because they don't want you to see the questions or be able to see them because they repeat the questions a lot and they're lazy. So like, why can't they just, after a test, they release maybe a set of questions, right? Wouldn't that fix everything, right? Then there wouldn't be any more leaks. Remainder theorem, email one to me. I keep saying, guys, email me. I'm doing ones from email until 8. Standard deviation is a measure of, on average, how far is every point from the mean. If the graph is the same exact, that means the range is automatically the same. No, if the graph is the same, and I mean the range between these is the same, but like if this one was like, if this graph was like 10, 20, 30, 40, and so on, and then up to 70, then the range is now 60, right? Let's see. Okay, what's next? Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is the question. Okay, so when looking at this question, I'm assuming that the interesting thing about this question is that you can't use a regression properly. And the reason why I assume that's going to be the case is because I have 3 variables. I have 3 variables, or 3 constants, right? The APM EST. Inference from the information I send me. Actually, I'll just pull one up. So I assume that this isn't going to work because if I have 3 constants, A, B, and C, I probably cannot write a regression times x1 squared. You need that amount of points. You need that amount of points on the graph, and I don't have that, right? And so I'm given this, right? And I guess, I mean, is this the answer? Let's see. Let's copy this. Equals, I mean, this is like a whole waste of time. Let's just do this. F of x equals, actually, let's leave it like this because this is the way I usually write it. And then you do all this, and then it gives you the graph, and then I could write f of 4 plus, or f of negative 4 plus f of negative 4 plus f of negative 15. Oh, I guess it gives you the answer, so it's fine. I don't know, how does it give you the answer there? Yeah, I guess that's all you have to do. But that's interesting. Usually what you need, I guess, because A is on the outside here. Usually if you have 3 constants, you would need 3 points to solve it. So I'm interested as to why you don't need that here. Maybe because it's no, I don't know why. It's almost 2 a.m. here. Dang, you need to go to sleep. By the way, the other way you can do this here is just writing this out, and then you write in a bracketed list f of negative 7, comma f of 0 is equivalent to 15, comma 299, and then you could write f of negative 4 plus f of negative 15. I guess that doesn't work then. Oh, whoops. So that's interesting. So if you write it out like that, then it doesn't work, right? That's very, very interesting, right? So I guess when you did table, it did work, and then when you do it this way, it doesn't, right? That's interesting. That's why I was like, yeah, like this is odd, right? Yeah. Yeah. But it is weird because let's say it's on the SAT and both 581 and 146 are an answer choice. Which one are you picking, right? That's very, very odd, right? I feel like, yeah, it is the same for that. I know what question you're talking about. Yeah. Do some harder grammar questions? Sure. Yes, I would love to do that. Okay, let's finish these ones up. I guess I'll do a couple in my email and then I'll stay on until I feel like it. Okay, let's open this so that I know that it's done. Harder English vocab. Okay, this is very, very small. You have to find C first. Well, I can't find C. Like okay, let's look at what happens if I were to plug these in. 299 equals A times 9 squared minus B times 9 squared minus C, right? Like, what does that do here, right? And then I have 15 equals A times what is this? 2 squared plus minus B times 2 squared minus C. What is that going to do, right? Oh, yeah, for the negative quadratic one, you have to find C first. This is a really odd question. This is a bad question, actually. I don't think this is definitely not an official SAT question. This is definitely not enough SAT question, official SAT question. I don't know who made this, but whoever did is not on their game. Like, this certainly isn't right. This isn't a good question. How often am I live? Every month I do a live right before the SAT, but I should go live more often. Okay, shall I do a grammar question or a vocab question? Let's see. What the heck? I'm gonna have to get this transcribed. Why is this not opening? It's not opening. I don't like these questions. This one's fine. All right, transition time. Transition time. Oh my God, I was literally gonna do this question. Not this one, but the one after this that I'm gonna do about PSP. I was literally gonna do that question. That question is literally in my practice test. I like this question, the PSP. But let's do this first. So, got a 14 time. What do you recommend? I do not go to sleep. Your brain is fried now. Go to sleep. Guys, I'm telling you, study the cheat sheets. That's it. That's all you have to do. Look at the cheat sheets. Because everything else you're going to study right now is like a waste, right? And in fact, let me make this bigger. I'm going to tell ChatGPT, transcribe this. Okay, let's do this. See, ChatGPT has a lot of great uses that you probably don't even think about. Transcribing things is one of them. If you ever need to transcribe something like this, right? Okay. What the heck? Okay, let's move this. What the heck? You see what's going on here? Let's delete this. Let's delete all this. Okay. Okay. All right, this is the write-up, right? And then if we look at the answer choices, let's get a picture. Let's get a close-up on its head. All right. I like that. All right. Known as an empire which the sun never sets, the Spanish Empire once controlled portions of 5 continents. Its legacy can still be seen and heard in the Spanish-speaking nation of Cuba. Which gained its independence from Spain in the 19th century. By the way you guys are going to do these ones are you're going to read like before the sentence and figure out how does this relate to the one after the sentence. Then it says blank, a former colony's tie to the Spanish Empire is so tenuous that it is seldom spoke there. Okay, here it's saying that the legacy of Spain can still be seen, whereas the Spanish-speaking nation of Cuba, right? So this nation is still speaking Spanish after Cuba left, right? Or sorry, this nation of Cuba is still speaking Spanish after the Spanish people left. Then here it's saying a former colony's tie to the Spanish is so tenuous, that means like unsure or like not well developed, that Spanish is seldom spoken. This is an opposite. Okay? This is saying, well, sometimes it actually does not continue to speak Spanish after the Spanish leave, right? So it ends up becoming on the other hand. Okay, now the PSP question might be one of my favorite questions of all time. I think it is so hard. Maybe that's just OD. Maybe that's glaze. But I think it is so hard. All right, let's get rid of all this. Let's see. Yo, guys, if you haven't already, like up the stream, subscribe, turn the notifications on so that when I start actually posting and locking in, you guys will be able to see. How to manage time on 2 modules. Go fast. You have to have a strategy. Like, other than that, like, I literally don't know what else to say. Like, go fast and don't use Desmos when you don't need to. Like, there's so many things that you can do by hand that, like, doing it in Desmos just makes it waste so much time. Where can I find the cheat sheets? It's just tutorbydesign.com/resources and then go to the cheat sheets. isn't it at the same time? Was at the same time an answer choice there? Even if it was, at the same time is like adding some more information. Like at the same time this is true, while at the same time this is true. On the other hand, it was giving, like, on the other hand is more like showing a direct opposite. At the same time is like this, but also that. As opposed to like, on the other hand, it's like this, but actually this is opposite. Okay. Okay. We want to get the main idea of this text, and we have that PSP, a system of skeletal air sacs, occurred in 3 Cretaceous clades, including theropods. Past studies have hypothesized that the trait was homologous, which means it had originated from a shared ancestor. Okay, so it's homologous. With this in mind, Weddell et al. Examined fossils of common ancestors of the clades using microtomography, finding openings in bones, a possible indicator of PSP. So we found a possible indicator of PSP, but of size is inconsistent with PSP. And good luck on the SAT. Let me know how it goes after. And it says then, the team reported other findings contradicting the homology hypothesis as well. Okay, they said that the sizes are inconsistent with PSP and also contradicted the homology hypothesis. Okay, which means that it did not originate from the same shared ancestor, and they concluded that PSP likely evolved independently. So what is the start at number 15? I don't like that. I don't think that's a good idea. I think that you should do question 10 to 15 last. Now, what works for you doesn't work for everyone. So if that's something that works for you, even though I don't recommend it, then who cares what I think, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if that's what I think and that's what I think is best for you, but for you personally, that works, then do that, right? SAT with accommodation is easier than usual. It's not easier than usual, but it's easier because you have more time. But it's like the same test. Anyway, so what is the main idea here? It's that originally we thought that this thing is from the same ancestor, homology, and then we found that the findings contradict. Then we found something that contradicts this hypothesis and made a new explanation, right? It says it evolved independently. So what's the main idea? A says these people found openings in bones in fossils of common ancestors of theropods, but the team determined that the sizes of the openings were too varied to be indicative of PSP, thereby weakening the hypothesis. Okay, this is a true statement, but A is only talking about this one sentence. It's too specific. It's too specific. It only refers to that one sentence, which you do not want to do when you are doing the main idea. Okay, that's a very common trap. Okay. B says previous studies hypothesized that PSP originated in a shared ancestor of theropods and 2 other clades. That's true, but the finding of Weddell et al. Suggests that PSP evolved independently in theropods and was subsequently inherited by 2 other clades. No, it did not evolve independently in theropods and then get inherited. It evolved independently in all 3 clades, right? It didn't evolve independently in one of them and then gets inherited. It says here it likely evolved independently in each clade, so B is wrong. C says, although past studies of paleontologists concluded that PSP in theropods and 2 other Cretaceous clades was likely attributable to a common ancestor, they lacked access to technology that led these people to reach a different conclusion. We do talk about the fact that Weddell et al. Uses microtomography, but we didn't talk about the fact that, like, what technology did other people use, right? So we can't say it's C, so it ends up being D. I'm not going to waste time reading it because I guess we can. So they found that theropods and 2 other Cretaceous clades with PSP likely lacked a common ancestor with the trait, which is true, right? They contradicted the homology hypothesis, meaning that they did not get it from the common ancestor. And they posited a different evolutionary origin for PSP than that posited in earlier studies. Yeah, they posited that it evolved independently in each clade. You're actually clutch for doing this? I got you, bro. I'm addicted to the SAT. Isn't it crazy, bro? I could be out doing a million other things, but all I want to do is the SAT. What am I going to do after tomorrow, guys? I'm literally going to have no reason to do anything for that matter. I'm literally going to, I don't even know. I don't know what I'm going to do, guys. It's going to be bad. Very, very bad. Anyway, overgeneralize? No. That's not always the case, no. Are you going to do more email questions? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. We have a couple more. All right, this question's good. Okay, this question's a pretty standard question. We have the figure shown. I have to pull up the calculator. The figure shown is a right circular cylinder with radius r and height h. A second circular cylinder shown has a volume that is 392 times as large. And we want to find which could represent the radius r in terms of r. Okay, so the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h, right? Let's write it down here. The volume equals pi r squared h. So I'm looking, if the volume of the original is just pi times r squared times h, then it's just pi r squared h, right? And now the new volume, if it's going to be 392 times that, then the new volume, let's just say V2, equals 392 pi r squared h. And so what I can do is let's plug these in. So pi times my radius is 8r squared times h times 7h. So 8 squared times 7, we're going to get 448 pi r squared h, right? Basically what you realize is you're just looking for whatever this squared times this is like the number in front, and you want that number to be 392. So like this is going to be pi times 8r squared times 49h, which is going to give you 8 squared times 49. So that'll give you 3136 pi r squared h, which is not it, right? They're free. It's all free. Cheat sheets are free. The only thing I charge for is courses and tutoring. Everything else is free, because like charging for stuff is ridiculous, guys. Who am I to charge you money to freaking take a test that is necessary to prosper in life? All right. Well, actually, we could debate on if it's necessary to prosper in life, but you get the point. All right. Anyway, if I do this, pi times 7r squared times 8h, that's just going to equal 392 pi r squared h. Right. And so that's the answer. By the way, guys, I have a whole video reviewing grammar. Like on this YouTube channel, it's like 30 minutes long, like doing like every type of grammar question. Okay, not every type, but most. Okay, that one's done. Okay, I'm going to do this question here. Okay, so actually, let's do this. Is a positive integer constant. Okay, let's do this. This is similar to one that was sent to me, but this one's my own. Where can I get the cheat sheets? tutorbydesign.com/resources. Where on the website is the cheat sheet? tutorbydesign.com/resources. Guys, actually, you know what? One more time, I'll show you guys. I don't know why I'm getting worked up, but it's because I've said it a million times, but it's okay. I'll say it a million times more. tutorbydesign.com/resources. Guys, I'm going to get a much needed break after this test. I mean, I'm not going to like take a full break, but I mean, obviously I won't have to do so much. My mind will be cleared. Anyway, so for a question, by the way, guys, so I talked about this earlier, if a function has factors, those factors will go through 0 at the same point. So like the factors of x squared minus 3x plus 2 are x minus 1 and x minus 2. This only works if the factors are linear. Okay, if they're not, you have to scale them down, and I'm not going to talk about that today because it could show up, but I don't want to deal with that right now. So what you do then is here I'm just going to write 5x squared. So I'm going to write x minus 5b. And then I'll just write 5x squared minus 150x minus 15b. And then I'm going to make b an integer. It's positive and it's an integer. So let's go from 1 to 20 with 1, right? And then all I need to do is look. Let's move b around and see, will these ever go through 0 at the same time? Let's look. We need to look. Will these ever go through 0 at the same time? Here they look like they do, but they actually don't. You zoom in and they don't, right? And then we check again, and now it looks like it's not going to go through 0 at the same time, right? So that's wrong, right? Now if I try with the next one, if I try with negative 187, and I see, will these ever equal 0 at the same time? Let's check. Looks like they don't here, and then they don't here either, right? I'm going to skip to the correct one, which is minus 197. Look what happens. So they start at not touching 0 at the same time, but if I move this around eventually, when b is 8, they will touch 0 at the same time. So my answer is D. What do you guys think about this question? This question is very common. I mean, just like factors in general. I mean, and like, you should really know how to factor by hand anyway. Like, this question is not that hard to solve by hand, but like, whatever. What can you do? Okay, let's do wish you luck. Good luck, bro. Good luck. Let me know how it goes. Let me know how it goes. Let's go. What does scale them down thing mean? I'm not going to get into that right now. Maybe at the end. I guess. Oh, now I have to go into this. So basically, okay, like, for example, I'll just show you. So like, for example, here with 20, I'll give you an example. So like here, when the factors are not linear, it doesn't work. So what you have to do, so like we can try this first with like, okay, like we want to find what's not a factor of this. First I can try, like, okay, I can see if 40 is a factor by just seeing like, will 10 to 40 divided by 40 work? It does. And then will 3 to 40 divided by 40 work? So if I can divide them both by 0, then I'm good, right? So D is wrong because it is a factor. And then for the other ones, so first if I try this, minus 3240, I can try the linear factor by just writing in 4x minus 3 and looking, will they ever touch 0 at the same time? Which, if I zoom in, it looks like they do, right? So this is wrong. But now my other ones, when I have like x squared, it doesn't work. Okay, I mean, here it coincidentally does. But, I mean, it actually doesn't. See, it doesn't, right? So what you instead have to do, and this should be a plus. Instead, what you need to do when it's a quadratic factor is you say, okay, well, what I could do here is this is 10 to 40x squared minus 3240, right? And this is 4x squared to the 1 minus plus 3. You basically just cross out the x squared and turn it into x. That's what scaling it down means, okay? And then if I just do this, 4x plus 3, it doesn't work, right? So it's wrong. And if I do the same thing with answer choice C, if I do 16x plus 9, you'll see that does go through 0 at the same time, right? So C is also wrong. So it's B. I wonder, like, if I did this, would it show? Like, see how even though C was a factor, if I used the quadratic version, it wouldn't have worked. Or actually, I guess we should do this. If I use the quadratic version, it wouldn't have worked. But when I scale them down to the x squared becoming an x to the 1, then all of a sudden it does work. Okay, I'm going to look through the email, see what I have in there right now. Then I'm going to do a couple ones that I want to do, and then we're out of here. All right, we're out of here. I've done already the DPTA one before. It's boring. Okay, this one's good. So you're given this. Can I do my question, please? I'm about it right now. After this, we're going to celebrate, guys. Right after this stream, we're going to celebrate. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to celebrate the SAT being over. Maybe we'll throw a tutor by design party. What do you guys think? Good idea? Anyway, let's actually lock in. So for this question, we have, in the given equations, A and B are constants. A and B are constants. The graph of this pair is a pair of perpendicular lines. Which of the following also is perpendicular? So what I'm going to do is, to find perpendicular lines, I need to get the y equals mx plus b for 1 and then flip it. So for this one, I have 7y equals negative 5x plus 1. So y equals negative 5 over 7x plus 1 over 7. And so this is the slope of the original, right? So negative 5 over 7, you swap it, right? And so then all you have to do is you're going to flip this and it becomes 7 over 5. You're going to make it positive. And so that's the slope of the new line. So what you do then is for this line, let's get the same thing alone. So by equals negative ax plus 1. So y equals negative a over bx plus 1 over b, right? And so this is the perpendicular slope. So negative a over b equals 7 over 5. So I can just say, like, it doesn't really matter what I do here. I could actually just write this as a regression, but it doesn't really matter. I could just say, like, you could put a ton of different values. Like, I could just say a is negative 7 and b is 5, right? Like, I could write it as a slider. That way a over b will be 7 over 5. So negative 7 and b is 5. It doesn't matter, but I guess you could just write it as a regression, whatever. A over b is equivalent to 7 over 5. Okay, and so then you just put in your other answer choices and see which one will give you the same thing. What the heck? Okay, so for answer choice A, it's these two up here. So it's going to be 10x plus 7y equals 1. And we want to see which one will give perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines. And then I have ax minus 2by equals 1. These look pretty good, right? This might be my answer, right? Let's look at our other options, right? If I have b of 10x plus 7y equals 1 and ax plus 2by, that doesn't look right. Yeah. Then if I have ax plus or 10x plus 7y equals 1 and 2ax plus by equals 1, that doesn't look good, right? That's no good. That's parallel lines. Then if I have 5x minus 7y and then I have ax plus by equals 1, that's also good, right? So the question is, why did two of them look good, right? Like, let's try 10x plus 7y again. And then let's do ax, what was it? Ax minus 2by equals 1. So we want to find which is a pair of which one's which one so I guess we would actually have to go out and like solve this then. It's like annoying. That's very annoying. Let's try it. Usually doesn't take this. If I just do -7, let's try this, and then already b is 5. Oh, then this one doesn't work when I do that. So bang. Then if I try the other one, it's gonna work. The bottom one? Then 5x minus 7y equals 1. Ax plus by equals 1. What am I doing? Oh, weirdly. -7 and 5. What am I writing weird? Am I tweaking? Let me get the actual question. In the given pair of equations. Because this is extremely odd. Hold on. It's because I think it might be because of the answers. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, here. So, because they're in different time zones. So, okay, why does it not work when I do this? So, it should be, b. So if I have ax, so by equals -ax plus 1. So y equals -a over bx plus 1 over b. And so -a over b equals 7 over 5. So I could say a is -7 and b is 5. So let's try our answers. And then ax minus 2by equals 1. Okay, so this is not giving me a perpendicular line. If I try 10x plus 7y equals 1 and ax plus 2by equals 1, okay, that gives me a perpendicular line, so it's b, right? Should be b. I don't know why I was tweaking. I must have done something incorrectly before when I was assigning values to a and b. I'm too lazy to go back and figure out what the problem was. Let's see. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, SAT reading. Let's do it. Okay. If I email you a question, could you solve it? Sure. I have a couple left in me. It's almost 8 o'clock, or it's past 8 o'clock. Holy moly, guys. I've been on live for 3 hours. If you want me to do a question, you got to email it to me. I don't want to have to go out and solve the whole thing. What the heck? Okay. So here we have, we want to, how would they respond to the assertion in the underlined sentence? And let's make this smaller. Okay, so we have that growth in the use of novel nanohybrids, materials created from the conjugation of multiple distinct nanomaterials, such as iron oxide and gold nanomaterials conjugated for use in magnetic imaging, has outpaced studies of nanohybrids' environmental risks. Unfortunately, risk evaluations based on nanohybrids' constituents are not reliable. Conjugation may alter constituents' physicochemical properties, such that innocuous nanomaterials form a nanohybrid that is anything but. So basically, we have that these novel nanohybrids, when they mix, may take this innocent, innocuous nanomaterial to form a nanohybrid that is not innocent, okay? So that's what text 1 says. Now text 2 says, the potential for enhanced toxicity of nanohybrids relative to the toxicity of constituent nanomaterials has drawn deserved attention, but the effects of nanomaterial variation or nanomaterial conjugation vary by case. So he's saying, like, sure, there is a need for some kind of concern, but there's definitely not, like, it's not certain that, like, the nanomaterial conjugation is anything but innocent. Like, it could be innocent. For instance, it was recently shown that a nanohybrid of silicon dioxide and zinc oxide preserved the desired optical transparency of zinc oxide nanoparticles while mitigating the potential to damage DNA. So how would they respond? Well, they would probably say something like, it's not always the case. Like, nanomaterials, when they conjugate, when they come together, might not always be a bad thing, right? So A, by concurring that the risk described in text 1 should be evaluated, but emphasizing that the risk is more offset by the benefits. No, he didn't say there's more benefits. He just said it's not always negative, right? So A is wrong. B, by arguing that the situation described in text 1 may not be representative, but conceding that the effects of nanomaterial conjugation are harder to predict. No, it could be representative, but it just varies by case. I'll leave that though. By denying that the circumstance described in text 1 is likely to occur, that's not true. It could occur, but it varies by case, right? D, by agreeing that the possibility is cause for concern, true, he does, right? He says it's drawn deserved attention, but pointing out that nanomaterial conjugation does not inevitably produce that result. So yeah, that's it, because he says it varies by case. It's not certain that it's going to be bad, right? So it's D. Right? Yeah. Let's do... Okay, I mean, this question is just a ridiculous question. This question is actually this question is not an SAT question. This question, I'm certain, is not an SAT question. I'm not even going to do it. Why do I know it's not an SAT question? Because they would have had to define that A and B are integers. Because I can give you like a ton of different values for A and B that will work here. If I just write square root of 848 plus 58, also they would never use square roots like this. This is like what one of those people that, this is like what the Princeton Review would do, bro, to try to get you to buy their stuff. Anyway, like I can make a ton of different values for A, and B will also be good. Right? This is not a good question. But I mean, what this is I have 848. If it told me A and B are integers, I have 848 plus 58 root 7. Can I factor out anything from 848 and 58? I can factor out 2. So I'll leave that, I guess. And this equals a to the 1/2 plus b. I would square both sides first. I'd say 848 plus 58 root 7 is equal to a to the 1/2 plus b squared. And then at that point, I would like go out and expand the whole thing. I would say a squared plus 2b root a plus b squared equals this. So you equals 848 plus 58 root 7. By the way, this is what you get if you FOIL this. And this actually shouldn't be a squared. It should be a plus b squared. Yeah, so that's what this is. So a I know is 7 because it's the inside of the root. A is 7. And b is 29. A equals 7 and b is 29. Because a is 7 inside of the root here. And b is 29 if 2b equals 58. Let's see. If I say that a equals 7, I'll get that b is 29, right? Yeah. SAT in 45 minutes, last minute tips. Go read the news. Go read the news. Go read something that's going to get your brain warmed up. Or watch this, I guess. I guess this is a good warm up for the brain. But, yeah. Use the if-they test if all the verbs are the same and you don't have any gerunds. Okay, this question, if I didn't want to do this in Desmos, let's think about it like this. Basically, let's consider g of k minus 1 to be previous. Let's actually consider k to equal 1, okay? Then this is saying g of 0 equals g of 1 minus 73 over 100 times g of 0, right? And so 1.73 g of 0, this is if I add the 73 over 100 to the other side. So 1 over 73, or 1.73 g of 0 equals g of 1, okay? Now, here's what you can do with these questions. This is saying basically that to get from this to this, like to get from one to the next, what do? That's what you want to know in exponential equations. Because think about it, like if you have a times b to the x, the b is what you have to multiply every time x goes up by 1. So to go from this one to that one, what did I do? What did I multiply by? It was 1 over 1.73, so this. So 0.578. So 0.57803. Did you do the one? So actually no, it'll just be this, sorry. It's I don't know why I don't know why I tried to do that. It's just like this. So to get from this one to the next one, I multiply by 1.73, so that's what b is. Okay, so it's like 1 over 1.73 times the previous equals the next. I did a question like this online like a week or like 2 weeks ago. You could do this in Desmos though. You could do ab to the power of k minus 1 is equivalent to ab to the k. You just plug this in. Minus 73 over 100 times ab to the k minus 1. And then I just make a like a number bigger than 0. And b is 1.73. Is it true that if you guess, what? That is the worst question I've ever been asked, guys. No, that is not true. Guessing is part of the game. No, you can guess. You're not getting marked wrong. Okay. I'm skipping the electric flux one because it's extremely common and you could just search it up. Search up electric flux SAT question. Okay, system of equation. If a system of equation that's quadratic has no solutions, I need to get it in the form of 0 equals ax squared plus bx plus c, and then do the discriminant, the b squared minus 4ac. If that's greater than 0, there's 2 solutions. Less than 0, it's 0 solutions. And if it's equal to 0, there's 1 solution. So here it's equal to 0. This is on the cheat sheet. If you look, I'll just control search it right here. Okay. So what I can do here is I can actually use elimination to get rid of, let's get rid of this. So negative 1. So what I'm going to have is negative y minus k equals x plus, or negative x minus 26. And then y minus k equals x squared minus 5x. I'm doing that because I want to get rid of the y. So that, because like this should not have a y in it. So I'm going to cross this out. Get negative 2k equals x squared. Negative 5x minus x is minus 6x minus 26, right? And so then let's add the 2k to the other side. 0 equals x squared minus 6x minus 26 plus 2k, right? This is a, this is b, and this is c. And so b squared minus 4ac equals 0. So negative 6 squared minus 4 times a is 1 times c is negative 2, negative 26 plus 2k. And then that's equivalent to 0. Can you use Desmos? I highly recommend you don't, because if the answer was 17.3333, you're going to get it wrong. Okay, if the answer is a weird decimal, which, you know, everyone always is coping and saying that that'll never happen. You are out of your mind if you think that's not going to happen one day. All right. I absolutely despise sliders and would never recommend ever using them. So no, I do not recommend to do this in Desmos, because the second that k is not a very, very easy number, you're cooked. No, so you could use Desmos. So you could do y plus k equals x plus 26, and then just write y minus k equals x squared minus 5x, and just move k until they only touch once. So it looks like I need to make this even more. Let's let it go to 30. So it looks like it gets very close here, right? And then keep going. At 17.5, they touch once. But what if it was like 17.34? You wouldn't know. Your SEC's in an hour. Lock in, lock in, lock in, lock in. Let's see. You said you got this question from preppers. Yeah, this, I mean, if they could say, so this question, so I should say this question could be a question, but they would have to say this is an integer, right? And if it was, even if you didn't know how to solve this like the way I did it, you really could just use Desmos by doing this. So like plus 58 square root 7 is equivalent to a to the 1/2 plus b. And then you can just write out like a equals 1, for example, and then just make it be an integer. So step of 1, and just move this until they're both integers. So it's there, right? Answer 17.5. Yeah, that's what I put. Do you have a formula sheet? Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm just gonna Maybe I should just pin it. Maybe I'm the idiot. I'm the idiot. I know I am. I know I am. Let's see here. Actually, wait, it's not going to let me pin it. Oh my God. Oh, wait, it does. It does. Okay, it's in the pin thing. How do you type underwrought? What? Underwrought? Underscore? Subscript? What is underwrought? You type UNDERROT. Not paying. What are you not paying? It's free. Oh. You know, recently I sent someone, what, under root? I don't know what that means. Oh, square root? SQRT. Or CBRT. Or nth root. It depends. So SQRT is for a square root. CBRT is for a cube root. And NTH root is if it's like a fifth root and you need to type it in. You could also do it here. So if you go here, square root here, and then cube root, like anything other than square root, you would have to click the functions button and then scroll down. And then go here. 2 to 3 questions with charts. I'm only going to do a couple more low key. Because it's getting late. I've been on live for 3.5 hours. Literally just doing SAT questions. Like, couldn't get any worse than this, guys. That's my dedication to you guys. That is truly my dedication. All right. If I see a question like this, it better be multiple choice. I mean, surface area cone. I'm not going to do it just because it's a waste of time. Related to how likely it is to show up. It's a waste of time. Should I do a question from my predictions that were hard, or like a question from my document that's hard? Oh my God, I'm going to do this question. I love this question. Wait. Let's back up. You guys are going to hate this question. Is there any chance to do a vocab question that's not a 50-50 chance? Well, if you don't know the words, no. Prefix, suffix, which is I don't really like, or try to figure out words that are as close to the test. What do you mean by charts? Like math or English? I don't understand. Yeah. Let's see. What did I even say I was about to do? I don't even remember what I said I was going to do, guys. I've lost my mind. Let's see here. These are too easy. I feel like the math is just too easy at this point. Like, I actually don't think there's a single math question that I find hard. Like, they're all just too easy. And that's not rage bait. That's actually not rage bait. That seriously is not rage bait. I feel like all these questions are easy. You guys tell me what's hard. Like, I can't gauge what's hard at this point. Someone tell me. I mean, I can't figure out which questions are hard. They're all the same. If I have this question, English is harder than math, certainly. You're correct. Okay, so for this question, we have that cosine of RSW. Cosine of RS. Okay, so point W lies on line RT. What is the value? So it's here, right? And we want, what is the value of cosine of RSW minus sine of WST? Point W lies on RT. What is the value of cosine of RSW? How could that possibly be a cosine, right? It's gonna have to be here, right? Right. If point W lies on RT, then how could I get RSW, right? Cosine of RSW, because there's no right angle. I guess it would have to be this. They would have to say this. In this question, they would have to say that W is going to create a right angle. Would they not? Cosine of RSW and then WST. Ooh, it actually doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. Because look, so RSW is this angle and WST is this angle. Okay? And so these two angles add up to 90. If you take two angles that add up to 90, cosine of one equals sine of the other. So these two are literally the same thing. Cosine of one minus sine of the other is 0. The answer is 0. How am I good at calculus but bad at this? Low key, I don't know. That's a good question. Let's see. I don't want to do the slant height question. This is annoying. Get a load of this guy. What questions are challenging on? Like, bro, someone give me a question that's going to challenge me, bro. I didn't get a single question today that was going to challenge me. Come on. Literally, like, man, the SAT is not fun anymore, guys. SAT is not fun anymore. I hope in March it's hard, guys. I hope. No, you don't need to know that. You don't need to know cosine squared plus sine squared. I mean, that's shown up before, but you don't need to know that, like, because you can just do it in Desmos. But, like, the cosine and sine thing I would do. Bro, don't rage bait me, y'all. Come on. I see my weakest was problem solving data analysis, 1300 with prayer. Yeah, basically. I mean, no, you could get a 1300. Yo, guys, if you've enjoyed the stream, if it's helped you, like the stream, subscribe. Oh my god, the electric flux question is a joke, bro. It's a disastrous question. I hate the electric flux question. It's too easy. I'm gonna solve this electric. You know what? I'll do it. What the heck? Hold up. Whoops. Oh my god, that just hurt my eyes. Sorry. Okay, for an electric field... Oh my god, this is too large. For an electric field passing through blah, 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 the flux is the product of the strength and the area. So flux equals strength times area, right? Now it says a certain flat surface consists of two adjacent squares where the side length of the larger square is 3 times the smaller one. So the smaller one, let's say it has an area of x by x, or it says it has side lengths of x by x. And the larger one might look like this. Right? So like this. So this is x by x, and this is 3x by 3x. So the area here is x times x, so x squared, and the area here is 3x times 2x, so 9x squared. Now look, delete all of this information. If the flux is 4640 through here, 4640, what percent of the flux does the larger square take up? It's asking what's the amount of flux through the large square. The large square takes up 9x squared out of the 10x squared, right? So it's 9/10. Literally all you have to do is multiply this by 9/10. And you get the answer. It is that simple. I took the essay. I just woke up and I didn't do any prep. I feel like I can cook. Yes, it's possible. AP, bro, they put really easy physics questions and they put really easy stats questions. Like the stats questions on the SAT are literally just throwaway AP stats questions. And possibly they might put like biology write-ups on the test. Like the biology FRQs are actually just like paragraphs, dude. Where did I get 10x squared? The total area of this, the total area is 10x squared. Okay, this question's fun. So here, line Q is defined by this. Line Q passes through these points, and we want to find what's A. Literally, you can just plug in the point B comma 0. you can say a times b plus 9 times 0 equals 18. And you get ab equals, or ab plus 0 is 18, so just ab is 18. And so a equals 18 over b. Other way you can do it is put this in a table. Put b comma 0. Like if you're more comfortable with this, put b comma 0, 0 comma c, and then set a slider for b and a slider for c. And then just put in to a regression ax1 plus 9y1 is equivalent to 18. And you'll see that a is equal to 18 over b. Right, like 18 over the b of 2 is 9, which is a. Guys, I'm actually going to, when I take the SAT again in March, I'm literally going to take the SAT by the collar and walk it like a dog, all right? The SAT is a joke, and that is pure rage bait. That should enrage you guys. The SAT, especially the math guys, is a joke. And I mean that with as much rage bait as I possibly can, okay? It should enrage you how easy it is. Yeah. By the way, you might be questioning why the RMSE is not 0 when I say it should be. It doesn't really matter in this question. I mean, yeah, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't, I don't care to explain. It doesn't matter. The RMSE is very high because of, I guess I need to make a value for C. Like the C value is a specific thing. The C value is 2, which is true. The C value needs to be 2 because if I plugged in the other point of 0 comma C, I would get a times 0 plus 9 times C equals 18. That's if I plug in the point of 0 comma C. And so I get 0 plus 9C equals 18. So C has to equal 2, which is why I needed to put that if I wanted it to be correct. Why are you able to sub in the X and Y points? That's all you have to do. What math course did I take? I've taken math up to differential equations. So I still haven't taken my diff EQ final, but I need to get like a 40% to get an A. It's to get an A+. So getting a 1560 on practice test 10, what can I expect? Completely depends on the day of the test. Because if you're that high up, it really just depends. I did not do any mock completely before because it was annoying of how easy it was. So is it fine if I don't do any tests right now, or should I do it? Bro, it is literally like 9 o'clock. Do not do a practice. Guys, go to sleep, bro. I'm ending this stream at 9 o'clock latest, bro, because you guys actually need to go to sleep. Also, I've been live for too long, bro. This actually is very long. Okay, this question, if I have infinite solutions, guys, you literally just set them equal. How do you add the pointers for X and Y? Table. Okay, literally you just write out QX1 because these are infinite solutions. So it's just QX1 plus 9G is equivalent to negative 10X1 plus 90Q. Right? And so set a slider for X1. Whoops, 3, 4, 5. Right? And then Q plus G. Negative 110. If y'all have, you guys got to let me know how it goes in India. You guys have to let me know. Last month it was like different from like everyone else that was international. Like your difficulty was different. I'm not solving this question because this is ridiculous, and I'm gonna put a pin of shame here. This is not a real SAT question, guys, and if it is, then you can shame me. I've seen this question before, but I'm not doing this. Okay, this is literally the same exact thing as the last question. If I have a linear equation with like infinite solutions, literally you just set them equal. So 12x1 plus 28 over 4. I don't know why this specific regression question confuses so many people. Is equivalent to r times x1 minus 8. Make a list for x1. Bang. What's s? It's 403. This is clockwork, y'all. This is actually clockwork. Okay, so this question here, one of my favorite because it's easy, but it's hard. It's easy, but it looks hard. It's like a all bark, no bite. Is this question says if there's exactly one real solution for this equation. By the way, if I have 3 lines, because I swear they're going to ask this one day. Someone tell me. Someone tell me, in this system of equations, I'll zoom in, how many solutions are there? Someone tell me how many solutions there are. Whoops. Someone tell me how many solutions there are. What do you guys think? How many solutions would you consider there to be? What do you guys think? It's 0. It's 0. It's 0 because they don't all touch at one point. If it has 3 equations, the solution is when all 3 of them touch, right? And so here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this equal to this and see what t would be in order for it to have one solution, and then set d's equal and see what t has to be for it to have one solution, and make sure that they'll be the same, right? And why am I setting like the t1 equal to the other ones? Because that's the only one that has constants, right? So I can do, like for this, I'll do the bottom one first. So 12x squared plus t equals 2x plus 145 over 144. So I can say 12x squared minus 2x plus t minus 145 over 144 equals 0. And then I'll do the b squared minus 4ac, that equals 0, right? So b is negative 2. So negative 2 squared minus 4 times 12 times t minus 145 over 144 is equivalent to 0. And this is what it tells me t is. It tells me t equals 157 over 144. And now I have to do the same thing with the top equation and see if I get the same thing. So 12x squared plus t equals negative x squared plus 13 over 6x plus 1. And so then if I do, if I add the x squared to the other side, I can get 13x squared minus 13 over 6x plus t minus 1 equals 0. And I'll do the same thing here. So I'll do negative 13 over 6 squared minus 4 times a is 13 and c is t minus 1. And that is equivalent to 0. And it gives me the same thing for t. You see that? It gives me 157 over 144. So the answer is going to be that. And I could check my work. Like, I could do 12x squared plus 157 over 144. And then, like, negative x squared plus 13 over 6x plus 1. And then 2x plus 145 over 144. And look at that. They'll all touch at exactly one point. Looks like this random point. Right? Isn't that neat? Isn't that neat? Right? At learning basic algebra, tackling these seems much more easier. We're all in near to prayers. Yeah. Why did you use discriminant? Because that tells you how many solutions it has, and it says there's exactly one solution. If you have a quadratic and you're told how many solutions you have, it's can you use the y equals? Yeah, but that's the thing, bro. If you do a slider here, you're gonna get it wrong. Because look at this, bro. You're gonna see that okay, at 1 it doesn't work. If I keep moving this, okay, at 1.1, I'm gonna put 1.1, and you're gonna get it wrong because it's 1.0. Not like the slider's not gonna. I just stuttered like crazy, but the slider's not gonna guess this. So that's why the slider's cooked. And in fact, I'm gonna rage bait you again and say that if you use a slider for the discriminant questions, I hope and I pray that you get it wrong for this exact reason, because I warned you to not do that. Okay. How do you know to do regular regression versus one where to use brackets on one side tilde? You use brackets when you have more than one equation. Like you use it very commonly when you're doing percentages. $700 in English because of silly mistakes. What should I do to get a 750 plus? Don't make silly mistakes. Actually read your stuff. The slider will plug in whole numbers. Yeah, it doesn't work. All right, I think I have time for like one more, and then I really have to go. I have to make my grand escape. I'm trying to think, what is like one thing that I really didn't cover today? You guys know that parallel lines will have the same slope and a different y-intercept, and perpendicular lines will have a different, or will have the perpendicular slope. We talked about perpendicular lines already. I'm gonna drink caffeine. 67 viewers, crazy. Okay, the next topic someone types in the chat, it has to be a specific topic. I'll pull up a question from it. What do you guys think? And then after that question, it's over. It's Jover. I think I'm about to hit 2,000 subscribers. Nice. Writing, advanced math, side. All right, we're doing margin of error. The first three of you guys are advanced math. That's a whole section. Writing, reading, inference. Don't know what that means. Inference is a whole thing. Actually, we'll do that. I'll do the inferences and the margin of error and percentages. All right, I guess the secret all along was I was going to do all of them. Are predictions vids worth watching? No, they are not. And in fact, guys, I'm going to tell you a secret. My predictions aren't really predictions. They're topics that you're going to see, but then I just write them to be like very hard to challenge you. And specifically, they're topics that I think if you saw and you hadn't practiced before, you would have gotten wrong. Because predictions aren't real, guys. Either predictions, there's three things predictions are. Four. One is rage bait, or something that's going to scare you into buying a course. Two is lies. Three is just easy questions. Like, I can guarantee you that you're going to see us solving something in terms of something else, right? But that's not like a prediction, like that's on every test. So you can't call it a prediction. Or four is just more challenging versions of questions that you are going to see. I picked the fourth option. Okay, we're going to do it in a different order, though. We're going to do percentages first. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to do an inference question first. Let's do... Okay, let's do this. What the heck? Okay. Zoom out. All right, we're doing inference first. So lost in the hard math section. Please do number 9. I don't know what number 9 is. Okay, you guys can read this quickly. Guys, I have a tip. Actually, I shouldn't say this tip. I'm not going to say it. Yeah, anyone that says that is lying to you. Complete lying. Yeah, DSAT UZ might be the absolute GOAT. DSAT UZ might be the actual GOAT. Bro, I just want to like phone rot. I just want to freaking rot on my phone right now. Someone told me that their SAT got rescheduled. It was because of like a winter. I think that you're going to see questions that showed up. Like, they give you the same question types. Number 9 is the circle one. It's hard, though, and I'm lost. Which circle one? Okay, we're going to do this one. I explain all the ones of my predictions on line. Number 9? I don't see it. Which number 9? Number 9 is the circle one. Which one? I'm so confused. Am I tweaking? Oh, yes, I am tweaking. Sorry. I'm an idiot. Okay. All right. So here we have, let's see. You have to pay for it. Pay for what? What do you have to pay for? Let's see. So we have on the practice math SAT free resources for what? Okay, if we continue, so consumers increasingly, so we want to complete the text. We say consumers increasingly expect that the goods they produce will be purchased, that the goods they purchase online will be delivered rapidly, even as soon as the day of purchase. So consumers want fast delivery. Although efficiencies in long-distance transport of parcels have greatly improved delivery times, last mile logistics, which is the final step, presents a bottleneck for delivery companies. So it's gotten faster, but still this final step is proving to be challenging. Time pressure resulting from consumer expectations is not the only challenge. Other obstacles, such as complex and inefficient delivery routes, persist. So there's these problems, right? complex delivery routes. While innovations to mitigate these challenges have been emerging, the use of autonomous delivery robots, for instance, success has been constrained due to the additional complications that arise. E.g., robots travel relatively slowly since they must navigate many ground obstacles. So even though we're introducing robots, it's still slow, right? There's still problems, right? There's still problems. And so then, oh yeah, the full task explanation. Yeah. So consequently, the robots are not going to get fixed, right? The robots are not going to get fixed. Or the robots are going to continue to create a problem, right? And so, or like the robots are not going to fix the problem because even though the robots are a thing, like it's still, they move slowly, right? So I'm going to say consequently, like the problem is not going to get fixed, right? The problem's not going to get fixed. Okay. And so if you have answer to A, the use of autonomous delivery robots may enable delivery companies to meet expectations now, but is not a viable permanent solution. It's opposite. They can't meet it now, but maybe in the future it will be a solution. Innovations in last mile logistics seem poised to increase consumers' expectation. No, they already expect to get it on the same day. How could it ever become more? It's that the robots are not currently like doing their job of increasing the speed. C, delivery companies should invest more funds in proven long distance transport. No. In the near term, delivery companies are unlikely to overcome the impediments. Yes. Basically, the robots are not doing the job yet. They're not doing the trick. So in the near term, it's not going to work. Okay, what else? We have percentages. Okay, I'll do a question like this. Hold on. So no, I understand what question you're talking about. I'm gonna do it. Percent of. Okay, let's do this one. So, all right, percentage questions. Literally, all you have to do, guys. You're going to write down the equations. So the first equation here is F is 450% of G. And remember, if it says 450% more, then you're at 550%, right? And then I have G is X% of H over 3. And then F minus H equals 3G. And I want to find X. It's going straight into Desmos. So you put the left side and the right side, right? Keep this video. All of the videos, by the way, like all of them are on the channel. Look. If you go to live, look at all of these that I have. It's just sitting here, bro. It's literally a gold mine. How many hours is this? 6 plus, I don't even know what this is. Why is it twice? What the heck? This is a lot, right? This is freaking six times like 2.5. It's like 15 hours of freaking free review, right? It's a lot, okay? Anyway, how is it 6 of them? Oh, did I do one before the June SAT, the July SAT? I must have, right? Yeah, so it was back in July, I guess. It was in June. It was before the June SAT. Anyway, so we're going to set this equivalent with a tilde, and then we're going to write the left side of each equation. So F comma G comma F minus H. And then we're going to write the right side of each equation. So 450% of G, X 1% of H over 3. I'll put this in parentheses. And then 3G. And then I get X1 is 200. If it tells me that all of them are 0, I'll just make any of my constants equal to anything, and it's going to work. Read the whole thing? No. Read the whole thing? Oh, for grammar, though. For grammar, though, you can cut them out. But for reading, usually, if something's in M dash or parentheses, it's actually more important. Okay, what was the one other thing that someone had said that they wanted me to do? There was one other thing when I told you guys to tell me what you wanted. Oh, margin of error. Okay, we know that the more sample size you take, the lower the margin of error is. The higher the sample size, the lower the margin of error. Think about this. The margin of error is a measure of how unsure you are. So the more people you ask, the more sure you'll be. And so you'll lower the margin of error, right? Yeah, I'm going to do the one you're talking about, but I'm going to first answer the margin of error one. Okay, this combines two different topics. So to find the average GPA of students, Mason takes a random sample of 50 high schoolers in his county, and it says the average GPA is 3.34 with a margin of error of 0.5. So 3.34, we're going to go up 0.5 to 3.84 and down 0.5 to 2.84, right? The answer to which one? Which one did I just delete? Oh, it's 200, right? So with this question then all we have to do is say that, first of all, you delete any question for margin of error that's like certain. So this is wrong. Now, it is plausible that the average GPA of all students in his county is 3.21. Sure, that's in the range, but it's not all students. We only are talking about the students in his county. Or sorry, we're only talking about the high schoolers in his county, right? And so, because he only did high schoolers, right? So B is wrong. It is likely that the average GPA of all high schoolers in his county is between 2.84 and 3.84. Yes. Like usually there's like a 98% chance. And then it is not plausible that the mean or the average GPA of all high schoolers is 2.99. Well, it is plausible because it's in the range, right? Okay, I think I'll do one more and then that'll be it. It's going to be the question with it's going to be number 9 on the practice test. Okay, so with this question, technically you can solve it in Desmos, but it's with like, it's not supposed to be solved in, like you're not supposed to be able to solve it in Desmos. Like it's weird, okay? What you could do is this. If you wanted to do it in Desmos, I'll show it both ways, is you know that like these two things are equal. So what I can do, okay, why shouldn't I be able to do this in Desmos? I can't just write this out using a regression or using a tilde. I shouldn't be able to because I have three variables and I only have 2 equations, right? So it's not good, right? Like if you do this, I think it'll work. Actually, I don't think it'll work. I'm skeptical. There's another way though that you can do this in regression. X1, oh my goodness, x1 squared plus ax1 plus y1 squared plus by1, and then set it equivalent to 100 comma c, because it doesn't give you the answer, and that's because it doesn't, like this doesn't work, right? Now one thing you could do is I could set them both equal to 0. Like I could just move the 100 over and have it be minus 100, move the c over and have it be minus c. And so I could have x1 minus 10 squared plus y1 minus 8 squared minus 100 is equivalent to this. But like this is not good. First of all, I don't like the way we would do this because it's like technically not right. by1 minus c. And then I can make a list for x1 and y1. So y1 equals... doesn't even give me the right answer when I do this anyway, so it doesn't work. And the reason why is because I can't just put any values, because I need to put values that are actually on the circle. So what I could do is this. I could say x minus 10 squared equals or plus y minus 8 squared is equal to 100. And then I could put points on the circle. So like 0, 8. Like if I do this, it'll work. So 0 and 8. It should work at least. 0, 8. And then I could do like 4 and 0. 0, 4, and 0 for the y. And then I could try, I think it still won't work actually, 10 and 18. Yeah, then it does work. It gives you negative 64, right? But still, it's a waste of time because this is super easy to do by hand. You literally just expand this. So x minus 10 expanded is x squared minus 20x plus 100. And then this expanded is plus y squared minus 16y plus 64 equals 100. And so basically it's just telling us get all of these constants on the other side. So you have x squared plus like dot plus 164, right? The 100 and the 164 equals 100. And so if I subtract the 164 to the other side, I'll just get x squared plus dot equals negative 64, right? So bang. Pretty simple, right? Like, this is very simple. Yeah, you learn this in algebra 2. You learn it a little in geometry. I mean, I learned this in geometry. So yeah. All right, Loki, I think that's it for today. It's been freaking 4 hours, y'all. It's been 4 hours. Yeah, I'm going to cut it there. I wish you guys all luck tomorrow. I'm going to post one more video, I think, today. I'll post like a reminder of what to do tomorrow morning. But or actually, tonight, I'll post a reminder of how the test, or I'll post a video of how the test went for international students. I'll post it at like 5:30 in the morning tomorrow. So that when you guys wake up, you can see. But, bro, do not doom scroll tomorrow. Just come on TikTok to watch my video or Instagram and then get off it, right? But then after the test, guys, make sure that you let me know how it went. What did you struggle with? If you don't want to tell me specific questions, that's fine. What topics were hard? What topics were easy? What, like, did you notice there were a lot of constants that Desmos wasn't able to be used? Desmos was really good to use. Like, the English passages were really long. They were really short. Like, all of that stuff helps me. Literally any information helps me. Help you guys better, right? Because then I'm able to make questions that are going to help you get more questions right next time, right? Any study tips, it is 9 p.m. So I don't spend, literally stop studying. Literally just study cheat sheets and like basic formulas, and like that's it. Okay. What math am I taking right now? I'm taking diff-EQ, differential equations. But yeah, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go. I don't even know what I'm gonna go do. I'm gonna go celebrate, guys, because now I'm done. What should I do for my ACUP SAT? Watch the videos that I'm gonna post after the SAT, because it's gonna be question types that were on the test. And DM me. I'll talk to you about what to do. All right, guys. I'm gonna talk to you guys. Maybe I'll make a YouTube video soon, but I'm gonna definitely, obviously, I'll do another stream next time. But maybe I'll do a stream every month now, because there's not gonna be a test in January or February. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon.